Westwood Radio Sports presents Olympic hockey.
The Russians looking tired as they press for the triangle. 10 seconds to play. If they can clear it here. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is over. The U.S. has beaten Russia.
All the pressure on Brendan Shanahan's shoulders. Here he comes, moving left to right. Shanahan across the blue line. Hasek comes out. Shanahan puts the deke on. Save made by Hasek, and the Czech Republic has won. Hasek jumping up and down. 2-on-1 across the Finland line. Oh, left circle. Slides it to a player. He scores! It's a hat trick for John LeClaire.
Live from the E-Center in Salt Lake City, here's Sam Rosen and Ed Olczyk.
And thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Wherever you're listening to us in the United States and Canada, we expect to have a classic hockey game this afternoon for the gold medal, the dream matchup, the United States and Canada, dream matchup for North American hockey fans. And it's a pleasure to be here as we anticipate the start of today's game. We're about 13 and a half minutes away from the start. And Eddie, both teams... full complement of players. For the United States, the good news is Keith Tkachuk, who was injured a week ago Saturday night, is back in the lineup. How do you feel he'll be able to contribute?
Well, he looked really flexible out on that ice. He's having an outstanding year with the St. Louis Blues. He's had 2 goals in the 3 games that he's played so far here in the preliminary round, and obviously going to get a chance to play in a gold medal game. I think it's going to be important for Herb Brooks to find out if Keith Tkachuk feels that he can do a little bit more than possibly being off this last week. Anytime you have a leg or a thigh injury, it's very important to stay loose, to stay flexed out there, and really for him, not playing for the last 8 days to take really short shifts.
Let's talk about the emotion and the nerves of this game. Both of these teams know that this may be the most listened to and most watched hockey game of all time in North America, and maybe in the world, because everybody is focusing on this game for the gold medal. The Canadian players, they're representing the heart and soul of a country, and the United States players, they're looking to maintain home ice, homeland superiority.
Well, I think for the Canadians, and talking with Mario Lemieux yesterday for about 10 minutes at the team camp practice, which was open to the media, Team USA's was not. He really feels the pressure. Obviously, the captain of Team Canada, knowing it's been a long time, 50 years since the Canadian team has won a gold medal, and really feeling that this is what it's all about. As a player, this is a chance of a lifetime. And as you mentioned, the pressure of Canada and the heart and soul of Canada itself. Hockey is their game in the United States. Of all the great amateur players that have come through the program, and the U.S. team has had so much success on U.S. soil, and this is an opportunity. It's a chance of a lifetime for all these players, and regardless of the situations where they go on in the rest of their NHL career, this could be a game that everybody remembers for the rest of their life.
And that's what Mike Eruzione, the captain of the U.S. 1980 team, which won the gold medal in Lake Placid, sent a handwritten fax to the captain of this year's team, Chris Chelios, and said, this is your chance. This is your time to write your book, as Herb Brooks has been talking about.
Well, 22 years ago today, Team USA defeated Finland, and they won the gold medal. And oddly enough, or strangely enough, Herb Brooks, the coach in 80, here in 2002, Team USA wearing their dark blue Team USA jerseys, as they did on that unbelievable Sunday 22 years ago.
Let's talk about the goaltenders. Mike Richter for Team USA, Martin Brodeur for Team Canada. They have opposed each other in NHL playoffs and Stanley Cup playoffs in 7th games. Martin Brodeur has won a Stanley Cup. Mike Richter has won a Stanley Cup. How do you feel they'll handle today's game?
Well, excuse the terminology, but pick your poison. Both these guys are great goaltenders, without a doubt. They both handle the puck extremely well. I think it's very important for both these teams, and something we saw with Team USA against the Russian team on Friday night is they took a lot of shots, and I think we can expect that again, the same type mentality. As far as for Team Canada, wanting to get the puck down low, work the smaller defensemen for Team USA, like Rafalski, like Phil Housley, Brian Leetch to a certain extent. But I think for both these goaltenders, if they have one weakness, I think Richter, low stick side is an area that I felt playing with Mike Richter and playing against him, that's one area I think if you're Team Canada, you're trying to shoot on. As far as Martin Brodeur, I think you got to get him going side to side. Try to get him going, and if you do get the puck to one side, is get the puck upstairs, because he takes away the bottom of that as well as any goaltender in the world.
Up on the board in the U.S. locker room, quick start, short shifts.
Well, so important because of the altitude, and all these players have adapted it so well in sometimes less is more in a game like this. Go out there, do what you do best. Don't try to play outside your comfort zone. Go out there and just do what you do best. If you read the play, if you see there's no chance to beat a guy one-on-one, get the puck in deep. I expect a low-scoring game, Sam. I'm saying, 3-2, 2-1. I don't know if that's really a big prediction, but I really feel with the way these teams are, and you don't want to open it up. Even though with the two-line pass in international competition, it's very important to be close together and good support all over the ice.
The Canadian team started slowly in this tournament. Rough start against Sweden. They kind of feared the big ice. They try to hit the long pass, the long bomb, if you will. Finally, when they settled down, went back to their strengths, they seem to be playing better and coming on as this tournament reaches its grand finale.
Well, really, playing within your comfort zone. I mean, that's the way that Canadian hockey is dump it in, go in there, bang bodies. If the play is there, take advantage of it. But really, Sam, if I look at this game and try to pick out one X factor, I really believe it's Mario Lemieux, the captain of Team Canada. He's the type of player that can make a play, that can make a difference of whether they're winning the gold medal or the silver medal, as he did in the game against Finland in the quarterfinals. He made an unbelievable pass to Steve Yzerman, and there aren't many players. So I believe one way or the other, Mario Lemieux will sway the game in one way or the other.
What a line he's playing on with Paul Kariya, Steve Yzerman, Mario Lemieux, one of the great lines in hockey. If this is a tight game, if it should end in regulation time tied, there would be a full intermission, a 20-minute sudden death overtime. If it's tied after that, we have a shootout for the gold medal. Who knows? This should be a classic, and we are anticipating the start. We're about 8 minutes away from the start of the gold medal game. And when we return, Scott Lynn joins us from our Westwood One studios.
Before we get to this one, let's take a last look back at the bronze medal game from yesterday. Russia 7, Belarus 2. After hitting posts and not feeling so great, Alexei Kovalev of Russia with a banner day.
Played along for Datsuk, closing in. Kovalev lets the wrister go, and he scores! Alexei Kovalev, who's got the hot hockey stick going today. Kovalev's second of the day gives Russia 3 goals worth of breathing room.
Now we're Joe Beninati on that call. 2 goals and a helper for the guy they call Kovy, but even with the relative ease in earning the bronze, Russian players anything but pleased. Defenseman Sergei Gonchar for one.
There is no words how disappointed we were, and obviously we have a lot of guys who are playing their last Olympics, and Slava was the coach for us, so all of us want to win, but it happened and nothing you can do about it.
As for this game at hand, kind of bizarre that the nation which invented this sport hasn't won a gold medal in it since 1952. Whatever. Talk about the here, now, and building momentum with Brendan Shanahan.
You just try to keep things simple, and we've all played in 7th games and Canada Cups and World Cups where it's single game elimination, so just draw from your experience.
When you hear the words final game like this one is, you can't help but dramatize like Mike Richter, but not over-dramatize.
It's just a 7th game automatically, so as a hockey player, you couldn't pray to be in a better position than this.
American teammate Doug Waite agrees.
This is what everybody wanted, and they're a great team, and we got a lot of respect for them, but we're going to have to come out and play our game, and we expect good things to happen.
One other event today, and perhaps one undone result today. Johan Muleg of Spain, who'd won 3 medals in cross-country skiing, has tested positive for performance-enhancing drug, though said drug is not on the IOC's banned list since it's so new. Muleg could lose medals or be suspended, a decision coming soon. And Larissa Lazutna of Russia bounced back from a controversial removal from the relay back on Thursday. She wins gold in the women's 30K. Italy took silver and bronze. USA and Canada for all the Olympic marbles come up in moments from E-Center. Sam Rosen, Eddie Olczyk on the call. Joe Beninati will join them. Keep it right here. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics on Westwood One.
The ice, and now Team Canada has come out of their locker room. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is exclusive coverage of Olympic hockey on Westwood One, America's leader in play-by-play radio sports.
Spanning 2 centuries of Chicago sports radio, this is the 50,000 watt voice of the fan, WSCR-Chicago. The Score, Sports Radio 670, an Infinity Broadcasting Station.
We are back. Team USA wearing its blue jerseys with the red and white trim, white numerals, the red shoulders and arms, blue pants, white helmets. Mike Richter is in goal to our right. And the U.S. team lining up at its blue line. Mike Dunham is the backup goaltender. To our left, the Canadian team in the white jerseys, red and black trim, red numerals, white helmets, black pants, and Martin Brodeur in goal to our left as they line up at their blue line. The head coach of Team Canada is Pat Quinn. The head coach of Team USA is Herb Brooks. And Herb Brooks talking about possession hockey being important, Eddie, that the possession game that the U.S. plays may be technically better suited for this game and the big ice.
Well, that's exactly the reason. It's just feeling that the speed and the depth of his hockey club as far as the international type style of really keeping the game wide, not necessarily playing down low, because in this international ice competition, as far as the width of the rink, is there so much more to go as far as covering ground in defense's zone, wide passes in the neutral zone. So it's very, very important to keep the puck going ahead. If you start making passes through the middle, teams will be able to come in. And right now, the way that Canada has really changed their game from game one and a loss to Sweden, coming into the semifinals against Belarus, they're doing a great job in the neutral zone.
The referee for the gold medal game is one of the best of the NHL, Bill McCreary. He refereed the gold medal game in Nagano in 1998. The linesman, Mike Civic of the NHL, and Antti Hamalainen, international linesman. Bill McCreary has come in for criticism during this tournament from Russia the other night after the game with Team USA, and from Wayne Gretzky and Team Canada early in the tournament. But Bill is experienced. He's done 7th games of Stanley Cups. He's done gold medal games. Now we have the exchange of flags between the captains, Chris Chelios and Mario Lemieux, a shake of hands with the officials, and we are getting set for the start of the gold medal game. The crowd filing in, just a few empty seats still remaining. I think, Eddie, it's a majority U.S. crowd, though there's a large Canadian contingent here.
Oh, there is a flavor of Canadian flags and jerseys, and a lot of NHL jerseys represented here in the East Center. But you're right, the majority of the United States fans with their jerseys, blue or white, U.S. flags, Canadian flags everywhere. So, Sammy, let's get this ball rolling.
Ready to go. The chant, USA and Canada going up. Bill McCreary is at center ice. He's ready. The U.S. opens up with its top line of Mike Modano, centering John LeClaire with 6 goals, and Brett Hull, who has 7 points in the tournament. The defense, Gary Suter and Chris Chelios. Eric Lindros with Owen Nolan on the right. Ryan Smith on the left. Chris Pronger and Al McInnes on defense. Puck dropped, and we're underway for the gold medal. Canada controls its own zone. Pronger right side of the blue line. McInnes slides it ahead into the U.S. zone. Winds behind the net. Richter stops it for Chelios. Try to move it. It was blocked. Backhands it up the left side of LeClaire. LeClaire out to center to Hull. At the red line, fires it down the boards. Winds behind the Canadian net to the far side. Pronger gets there. Pronger up ahead out to center. It's stopped in center by Suter. For the U.S., right side of the blue line to Chelios. Lifts to the red line. Ryan Smith knocks it down. It's picked up by Lindros. Sends it back to his own zone of Pronger. Right side of McInnes. He carries to the red line and fires in. Winds all the way around to the far side. Kept in by Paul Correa. In deep in the left corner, Roenick for the U.S. as both teams have changed lines. Taken back by Correa. Feed to the point. Long shot. Saved by Richter. Tough shot by Foote. Rebound in the circle. Slides in front. Moved by Suter and brought out by Roenick to center. Roenick with Scott Young. Roenick across the line. Roenick slides it in front. It's intercepted by Niedermeyer. Plays it off the far boards. Kept in by Aaron Miller. In deep in the Canadian zone. Niedermeyer has it left side. Checked by Keith Tkachuk, who's on with Scott Young and Jeremy Roenick. Puck knocked down by Aaron Miller into the Canadian zone, controlled by Yzerman. Up the middle of Mario Lemieux, the captain of the Canadian team, across the blue line. Drop pass between the legs is cleared out by Deadmarsh. Recovered by Jerome McGinley into the Canadian zone, left side Rob Blake. Off the left wing boards. Too far for Simon Gagne. Played away by Richter into the corner. Up the boards and past Guerin. Kept in at the point, Jovanovski. Wrist shot saved by Richter. He covers up. Canada, 2 shots, a minute and a half into the game. No score in the game. Face off deep in the U.S. zone.
Well, the first 2 shots for Canada, both by defensemen. Both left-handed defensemen. One, Eddie Jovanovski, playing the left side of the Vancouver Canucks, and Adam Foote with the first good opportunity. Right-handed shot moving in from the boards. So Team USA kind of giving the defenseman for Canada a little bit too much room, and Mike Richter not giving up any rebounds.
Doug Waite and Joe Sakic on the face-off to the right of Mike Richter. One by Sakic. Comes back to the blue line. Chipped out of the zone by Deadmarsh. Back into the Canadian zone, Rob Blake goes after it, plays it up the boards and out the center. It's picked up by Sakic down the right wing into the U.S. zone. Right circle. His shot blocked by Housley. Sakic plays it off the boards to Simon Gagne. Back to Sakic for a shot. Hits the outside of the net. Back behind the net. Gagne picks it up. Up to the left point to Jovanovski at the blue line. Long shot goes wide off the end boards. Back of the net. Iginla is tied up by Housley. Back to the far side. Sakic's got it. Up the left wing board. Skates toward the blue line. Winds into the corner to Iginla. He's hit there by Housley. Housley able to move it along the boards, along the end boards. Taken away by Sakic. Centers in front. That shot goes wide by Pronger. Shot by Sakic. Hits the outside of the net. Good pressure here by Canada. Sakic in the right circle. Pulls up along the boards. Into the corner. Drops it off for Gagne. Gagne trying to get it back. It's taken away by Rafalski. Clears to center. Stopped by McInnes. Plays it off the boards, but it's picked up by Waite. Long shot from center. Gloved by Martin Brodeur. Drops it off for Pronger.
Another great chance for a defenseman for Team Canada. Pronger this time, so it seems that people that are playing the left side for Team Canada are getting their best scoring chances.
Fired around the boards in the U.S. zone. Shanahan, the left corner, winds it around to the near side. After the puck is Chris Drury. Drury tied up along the boards deep in the U.S. zone. Suter goes to help out. It's cleared out to center. Amonte up the right wing. He's joined by Chelios. Across the Canadian line. He turns into the middle of Ralston. It's knocked away from him by Niedermeyer. Flying in was Drury. A shot on goal. A save by Brodeur. Loose in the circle. There's a penalty upcoming. It's on Canada. It's going to be on Scott Niedermeyer. An interference call will give the U.S. a power play. They're 7 for 21 on the power play in the Olympics. 3:03 gone by, scoreless game.
Oh, what a hit. Right before that penalty on Scott Niedermeyer. Chris Drury absolutely hammers Theo Fleury. And earlier in that shift, they had a big hit down in the offensive zone of Team Canada. But Niedermeyer gets an interference call. So the first power play of the game. Physical play at both ends.
Canada's penalty killing has been excellent. They've given up only 2 power play goals, 14 times short in the Olympics. Puck cleared out. U.S. has Leach and Housley at the points. Madonna, Hull, and Leclerc up front. Canada with Michael Pekka and Simon Gagne, Al McInnes, and Chris Pronger, the penalty killers, deep in the Canadian zone. Pekka behind the net. It's knocked away from him. It's picked up by McInnes. Winds it up ahead for Gagne. He's tied up. Tries to move it up the boards. Kept in by Housley, left point. Slides right and shoots. Deflected wide. Rebound in the left corner, Brett Hull. Backhands it for Leclerc. He's checked by Pronger. It's taken away by Al McInnes. Fires it off the glass all the way down it goes.
A definite advantage for Pronger and McInnes. They play together in St. Louis, so they're able to play against each other, whether it's in a pressure situation or a lot of time.
Brian Leach carries up the middle of center. Brian Rafalski has come on. He takes a pass left side of the red line, winds up and drives it around the boards. His teammate on the Devils, Martin Brodeur, stops it, fires it up the boards. Kept in by Tom Poti. Winds in deep past Madonna. Near corner to Brett Hull. Hull puts it behind the Canadian net to Leclerc. Back to Hull, side of the circle. On the left wing board, skates up toward the line. Comes back down into the circle and shoots. Deflected off the end glass. All the way around the glass. It rolls back into the U.S. zone. 48 seconds to go. U.S. power play. No score in the game. 4:20 gone by.
Good idea there by Brett Hull. He just missed the top corner. Brodeur was down early.
Roenick crossed the line. Right circle. Drops it back to Poti. High in the slot. He shoots and it's blocked by Correa. Up steps Rafalski. Down low. Deflection side of the net is stopped by Brodeur. Amonte with a deflection up to the left point to Poti. Winds it in deep to Roenick. Roenick in the left corner. Skates up the board. Side of the circle. Out to the blue line. He turns. Long shot wide of the net. Rebound out to Rafalski at the right point. Holds. Checked there by Nolan. Looking toward the net. Plays in deep to Roenick. Skates behind the net. Puts it in front. Deflected. Knocked away by Pronger and cleared by Correa. 10 seconds to go in the power play.
Sorry, Sam. Keith Tkachuk looks awful limber out there. He was in front of the net. Battling. Got knocked down by Correa one time in front of net. So good idea there by Team USA.
Roenick carries up the middle of center. Roenick into the Canadian zone. It's knocked away from behind by Pekka and played by Brodeur. Power play is over. Puck kept in by Chelios. Knocked down by Jovanovski. No score in the game. 5:15 gone by in the first. Rob Blake carries to the U.S. line. Big drives a save by Richter. Rebound to the near side. It's played there by Suter. Suter carries out to center. Plays to York. Right wing feed too far for Guerin. Winds behind the net. Brodeur plays it up the near side of Rob Blake. Blake carries up ahead to the blue line. Sends out to center. It's past Sakic. And deep in the U.S. zone, Chelios gets there, backhands it off the near side glass. It bounces down the U.S. zone, kept in by Team Canada. centered across to the blue line. Long shot by Niedermeyer, deflected by Wade, over the glass into the crowd. Play stops. 5:44 gone by. First period, gold medal game. Shots are even at 3. There's no score in the game.
Well, Team Canada did a real nice job against Team USA on that penalty-killing situation. And all these players know each other, Sam, and that's why it's going to end up being a chess match back and forth of knowing the tendencies and the styles that they play. Team Canada's been scouting all the U.S. games, vice versa the other way. U.S. Canada, so good job by Team Canada early.
Nolan wins the face-off to the line, and Niedermeyer plays it deep into the U.S. zone. Lindros after it. His Ranger teammate Brian Leach checks him. Lindros put a headlock on Leach. Puck up the boards. Ralston carries to center for the U.S. To the red line. Left side of Leach. Cross the line with a drive. Save Brodeur. Rebound Adam Foote. Bangs it off the near side glass to Ryan Smith. Smith chips it ahead. It's stopped. Taken away by Niedermeyer for Canada. Right side of Nolan. Into the U.S. zone. Long shot from the blue line. Gloved by Richter. Side of the net, and he holds on. 6:13 gone by. First period. No score in the gold medal game. The U.S. has not won a medal in Olympic hockey since 1980 when they won the gold. Canada has won the silver medal in 1992 and 94. They did not medal in 98.
Well, the first shot on goal by a forward for Team Canada. Owen Nolan coming down those right wing boards, and Richter with a glove save.
Face off in the U.S. zone. Yzerman puts it behind the U.S. net. Rafalski moves it, gave it away to Lemieux. He turns, puts it in front, intercepted by Housley. Up the middle and out to center, taken back by Pronger. To Lemieux and back to Pronger at his own line. Back skates into his own zone. Right side to McInnes. McInnes plays back to Pronger in the middle. Carries to center. Pronger fires ahead. Tipped in by Lemieux on goal. Richter stops it for Rafalski. Holds behind the net. Rafalski looks up ice. Comes out from behind the net up the middle. Right side feed to Madonna. Gets to the red line. Fires it around the boards. Brodeur reaches out. It's off his stick. Comes near side to McInnes. Up ahead to Yzerman and out to Lemieux. Races down the right side. Cuts to the middle. Goes to the left side. Drops it back for Blake. Tapped away by Leclerc. Blake recovers. Winds it in deep. Intercepted by Chelios behind the U.S. net. Fires it up the boards for Hull. It's out to center. Hull. Down the left wing into the Canada zone. Drops it to Suter. Quick shot. Sticked aside by Brodeur. Low shot. Shanahan clears to center. Knocked down by Suter. Plays it right side. Picked up by Deadmarsh in front of the Canadian bench. He's bumped there. He crosses the line. Fleury checks him. Deadmarsh, side of the right circle. Try to wind it in deep and hit the referee, Bill McCreary. It carries in deep as Deadmarsh. Fleury went down as he was clipped. Might have been clipped with an errant stick. Puck around the boards to the near side. Blake clears to center. Leach stops it there. His pass knocked away by Shanahan. Rolls into the U.S. zone. And it's cleared out by Chelios for Tkachuk. Off his stick, sent the other way by Niedermeyer. Into the U.S. zone. Fleury after it. Chelios gets there first. Fires it around the boards. Kept in by Gagne. In deep to Sakic. Skates to the left circle. Turns back past the Niedermeyer left point. To Sakic along the left wing board. Skates up to the line. Cross ice. Gave it away to Tkachuk. Skates to center. Gets to the red line. Dumps it in. The U.S. changes.
It seems like Team USA's done a much better job defensively, and they did a good job on the Lemieux shift of shutting behind the net. Team Canada trying to get the puck to be by Lemieux behind the net. Chelios shut off the play nicely.
8:10 gone by in the first. No score in the game. Deep into the U.S. zone goes Gagne. Back pass knocked away from Sakic. Carried out by Mike York. York down the left wing into the Canadian zone. Checked by McInnes. Winds it in deep. Brodeur keeps it moving on the forehand to the left side of Gagne. Simon Gagne to center. Into the middle, McInnes. Cross the U.S. line. Top of the right circle. Goes in deep. Try to slide it back. It was knocked away. Comes to the line. Kept in by Pronger. Pronger winds it behind the U.S. net. Goes to the far side. Tony Amonte is there. Try to reverse. Blocked by Lindros in the left corner. He pokes it behind the U.S. net. Tom Poti takes over. Knocked away by Lindros in front. Loose puck. And it's cleared out by a diving Doug Wade. 2-on-1 U.S. Amonte right circle. He shoots. He scores! At 8:49 of the first period has given the U.S. a 1-0 lead.
As you called it, Sam, what a play by Doug Wade. He almost pool-cued this puck outside the zone. It looked like Team Canada was going to get it. It got by Owen Nolan and Tony Amonte, who scored the game-winning goal in the 96 World Cup against Canada. Beats Martin Brodeur between the legs. It was a 2-on-1. So Canada had to respect it. Blake was the only man back, and Brodeur right between the legs. and Tony Amonte, the Chicago Blackhawks, gives Team USA a 1-0 lead.
Face off into the U.S. zone, carried by Leach up the center. Left wing feed for Hull, down to the Canadian zone. Hull chases, Jovanovski gets there, puts it in the corner, Modano stops it. His pass, knocked down, batted down by Lemieux. Played along the near sideboards, kept in by Leach. Long shot deflects wide. Rebound on the far side, Modano gets there. Modano skates up toward the line, winds it in deep for Hull behind the net. It's chipped by him by McInnes, rather by Rob Blake. Played up the near side, now to center to Correa. Cuts to the middle across the U.S. line. Dropped to Lemieux. Down the slot. He's checked by Leclerc. Good play. And it's knocked away by Miller. Out to center. Hull gets there at the red line. Angles toward the middle. Backhands. Gives it away to Niedermeyer at the Canadian line. Skates to center. Looks to the left side. His pass tipped by Tkachuk into the U.S. bench. 9:37 gone by. First period of the gold medal game. And the U.S. leading Canada 1-0. Amonte got the goal from Waite and Pody at 8:49.
Well, the advantage Tony Amonte had coming down those right wing boards. He's a left-handed shot, so he had the puck in the middle of the ice, and Brodeur had to respect it was a 2-on-1 situation. And Tony Amonte, who's an unrestricted free agent after this year in Chicago, gives Team USA a 1-0 lead.
Face off, puck back into the Canadian zone. Niedermeyer from behind the net up the left side, carried out and fired in by Joe Newendijk off the corner boards. Played up the boards by Suter, stopped by Adam Foote. Foote fires in front, is blocked. Rebound, Shanahan, his shot blocked, deflects into the corner. Rebound on the near side. They battle for it there, and there's a penalty upcoming. This is Westwood 1's exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics.
It's a multitasking jungle out there. Doing 10 things at once and doing them really well can take a lot out of you, but that's okay. I've got Centrum Performance.
Life's never been more demanding, and that eats up nutrients. Centrum Performance helps replenish them. Here's the more complete multi with higher levels of essential nutrients like key B vitamins, plus ginseng and ginkgo. It helps restore your mental and physical energy to your optimal levels.
If life wasn't so insane, I'd be bored silly.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it.
The score.
Penalty on Team Canada. Fleury for cross-checking at 10:03, second U.S. power play.
Kind of a soft call. I thought it looked like in front of the net. Mike Richter. Chelios was there. It looked like Fleury was just trying to get in off to the side of him. Actually cross-checked him on the side.
Pody to center. Left side feed to Amonte. He's checked along the boards. Pronger takes over for Canada. Turns and drives it out all the way down. Rafalski and Pody play the points. Roenick, Tkachuk, and Amonte up front for the U.S. power play. Their second of the game. They're 0 for 1. Rafalski, right side feed to Roenick. Across the Canadian line, meets Adam Foote. Cuts to the middle. Foote poked it into the corner. Roenick chips it behind the net to Tkachuk. He lost it to Blake. Blake plays it up the near side boards. Pody gets there and keeps it in for USA. Into the corner. Blake takes it again. He's bumped by Keith Tkachuk. Puck to the point. Shot by Pody. Saved by Brodeur. Rebound left side again. Skates to center. At the red line, he fires on goal. Knocked away by Richter into the far corner. Rafalski takes over. U.S. changes. Modano, Hull, and Leclerc come on with Brian Leach. Rafalski to Modano. Modano up the middle at the red line. Lost control. It's chipped away by Owen Nolan. Leach recovers. U.S. side of the red line. Back skates to the blue line. Right side feed to Phil Housley. Housley into the middle of Leach. Leach carries to the red line. Angles left. Drives one wide of the net. Off the corner boards. Comes to Owen Nolan. Backhands ahead for Pronger, who sends it all the way down.
Well, so far, Team Canada, when Team USA is dumping the puck in on the power play, their wingers are the ones that are picking up the puck in their corners and shooting the puck out.
Modano carries to center, avoids Simon Gagne. Angles right across the Canadian line. Top of the circle. Gets by Pekka. Back pass comes out of the zone. Leach recovers. 20 seconds to go. U.S. power play. 11:45 gone by first period. 1-0. U.S. leading it. Right circle, Leclerc. To Modano along the sideboards. He holds, skates toward the circle. Back pass Housley, center of the blue line. Back to Modano, top of the circle. Housley ahead to Leach. Back to Housley. To Leach, left circle. Into the left corner. Leach is deep. Holds. Back pass to Housley, left point. Skates right. Feeds Modano. The shot goes wide. Power play is over. Fleury back on. U.S. 0 for 2 on the power play in the game, but lead 1-0. Wade across the Canadian line is upended by Foote. Goes flying, and the puck taken by Fleury. Fleury up the left wing into the U.S. zone. Cuts the middle across the line. Angles right, top of the circle. Long shot high over the net. Rebound to Correa, side of the left circle. Carries into the corner, winds in deep for Fleury. Centers to Lemieux by him. Shot by Niedermeyer, blocked. Niedermeyer again puts it in front. It's knocked away. Great play by Chelios as he cleared it out all the way down. Out comes Brodeur to play it to the right side. Forechecking is Bill Guerin. Into the U.S. zone it goes. Chelios goes back to get it. Chelios bumped by Lemieux. Suter is there as well. Chelios falls down. Tries to get up. He does. Plays it up the near side. U.S. able to clear to center. Nolan has it back for Canada, left side to Eric Brewer. Brewer right side of Niedermeyer in the Canadian zone. 13 minutes gone by first period. U.S. a 1-0 lead. Nolan to the U.S. line. Feed right side to Ryan Smith. Long shot. Saved by Richter. He dropped it and he covers up. 13:04 gone by in this first period. U.S. 7 shots. Canada 6. U.S. with a 1-0 lead on a goal by Tony Amonte.
Well, Team Canada really seems to want to be getting their defensemen active in the offensive zone. Their D are jumping in and being very, very aggressive. So Team USA has to make an adjustment. They have to have tighter coverage in their own zone. Wingers on defense.
Face off in the U.S. zone. Comes to the point. Shot by McInnes. Gets through. It's blocked. Stuffed in. Try by Smith. Saved by Richter. Rebound to Lindros. Behind the net to Ryan Smith. He's checked by Aaron Miller. Puck taken by Tony Amonte. Amonte holds. Fires out to center to Ralston. Across the red line. Into the Canada zone. Down the left wing. Left circle. His shot deflected by McInnes into the crowd. And play stops. 13:24 gone by in this first period. 6:36 remaining in the first. 1-0 USA.
Well, great intensity, great emotion by both teams. The skating is so intense, and really one thing that we talked about earlier about short shifts, not only for Team USA, but for Team Canada as well. And you have to make sure that you make your changes in the good position, whether you're going in offensively. You don't want to be changing when the puck's coming back unless it's a smart change.
Face off to the right of Brodeur, top of the circle. Roenick against Duendijk, loose in the circle. Tkachuk for the back pass, comes out of the zone. Housley gets there, checked by Shanahan, pushes it ahead. Scott Young tried to play it, knocked away by Fleury, left side of Shanahan in the U.S. zone, batted down by Housley. Comes to Niedermeyer for a shot wide. Rebound behind the net. Played up the boards by Rafalski and out to center. 2-on-1, Roenick and Tkachuk with foot back. Roenick right circle to the net, and it's blocked. And the rebound hit the post. And it's taken out by Adam Foote. He slides out to center to Nieuwendyk. Down the left wing into the U.S. zone. Left circle. He shoots. Saved by Richter. Rebound to the circle. Niedermeyer fires wide. Rebound to the near side. Roenick clears to center. All the way down to the blue line to Tkachuk. Plays it into the middle. Offside USA. 5:53 to go in the first. U.S. came so close to making it 2-0.
And I guess on the other side, talking about how active the defenseman for Team Canada has been, Scotty Niedermeyer jumped in, had a great opportunity right in the high slot. Adam Foote was back. Niedermeyer was the one in, and Roenick was a 2-on-1 with Keith Tkachuk. He threw the puck to the front, and Tony Amonte came in as well. And as Roenick was falling to the ice, he tried to get a backhander. And as you called, Sam, it went in behind and trickled, and I think it grazed right off the far post.
In the Canadian zone, it's cleared out to center. U.S. with a 1-0 lead. Suter in his own zone, right side of Chelios, up the right side of Brett Hull. He goes cross corner. It's knocked down by Rob Blake in front. He's pressured by Leclerc, lifts it off the glass, and back it slides into the U.S. zone. Back to get it, Chris Chelios. Chelios behind the net, circles the net, fires out to center. Long pass to the blue line to Leclerc, shoots it wide off the end boards. Rebound to the far side. Madano gets there, knocked away, taken by Lemieux. Skates to center. Right side, Peter Pronger coming forward. Pronger met by Leclerc. Into the slot for Lemieux. Through to Correa, he scores! Paul Correa has tied it for Canada.
Sam, Mary Lemieux made the play in the neutral zone. He got it over to Chris Pronger, who jumped in. Lemieux almost played as a wounded duck. He let the puck go between his legs right to Paul Correa, knowing that he was there. Most players in the National Hockey League would try to take that puck, but he knew that Correa was off to his left. Richter was expecting the puck to be shot from the middle by Lemieux, and Paul Correa with a wide open net. But great play again. Defense jumping in for Team Canada. Team USA's got to try to stop that.
5 minutes to go in the first. Tied at 1. Play in the Canadian zone. Worked up the boards, cleared out by Nolan. Taken back by Aaron Miller. And a chant of Canada. Canada goes up from the crowd. Winds around the boards. Near side in the Canadian zone. Put behind the net. Niedermeyer backhands to the corner. Adam Foote picks it up. Plays it up the right side out to center all the way down. It'll be an icing on Canada. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics on Westwood One.
Yuck. I need to brush. Whoa!
I am the evil prince, and I will grant you whatever you desire. Money, fame, absolute power.
Really?
Promise me your soul, and I will give you whatever you wish.
Got any Trident?
Of course. What flavor?
When your mouth just has to feel clean, get some Trident. Chewing Trident helps clean teeth and refreshes your mouth.
So, does Trident really count as my wish?
Foolish mortal.
Can't brush? Chew Trident.
Play back in, U.S. across the Canadian line. Amonte down the right wing boards, winds it behind the net. Ralston bumps with Blake. Blake takes the puck. Comes up the left side. 4:20 to go. First period tied at 1. Correa from Pronger and Lemieux at 14:50 to tie it. Correa's third goal of the Olympics. Mario Lemieux's had a great Olympic tournament. Has 6 points. Puck out to center to the U.S. line. It's played down the boards by Iginla. Picked up by Sakic, who's shot blocked by Housley. Rebound on the far side. Housley and Sakic go forward. Backhanded out to center. Amonte picks it up. Red line. Right side. Across the line, Mike York. He's stopped by Pronger. Roenick recovers. Tied up by Gagne. Out to center it comes. Housley plays left side to Suter. U.S. side of the red line, back into the U.S. zone of Housley. Or rather to Chelios. Up the right side, Young. Young to Tkachuk. It's knocked away from him out to center. And it's picked up by Jerome Iginla. Iginla down the left wing into the U.S. zone. Stopped by Scott Young. He recovers left corner. Checked there by Chelios. Iginla works it up the boards. Got taken down. Gets back up. Centers. Quick shot goes wide. Correa again taking the quick stab shot. Kept in deep by Adam Foote to Lemieux. Slides it in front. In the circle. It's picked up by Yzerman. Yzerman to the goal line. Played it right through the crease. Yzerman chases down right corner. Yzerman takes it away from Tkachuk. Yzerman centers. Niedermeyer shoots off the crossbar. Rebound to Correa. He winds it in deep. Canada coming on with a lot of pressure here. Suter is tied up by Yzerman in the corner. In after the puck, Jeremy Roenick. Roenick lifts it out to center. It bounces down into the Canadian zone. Niedermeyer back to get it. 2:55 to go. First period tied at 1. Foot right side of the red line. Whoops it ahead. It's knocked down by Smith. He carries deep in the U.S. zone. Leclerc back for it. Bumped and knocked down by Nolan. Leach takes the puck. Tripped up from behind. He's able to work it ahead to the blue line. It's poked back into the U.S. zone. Leach recovers. Turns. Feeds right side to Aaron Miller. Miller skates to center. Gets to the red line. Centers to Leclerc. Cross the line down the right side. Puts it cross ice. Knocked away from Bonanno. Picked up by Ryan Smith. Breaks the center with Nolan and Lindros. Down the right side in the U.S. zone. Centers to Lindros. Checked from behind by Madano. Leach plays it to the near boards. Nolan takes over for Canada. Right corner. Centers right through the crease to the point. Jovanovski, a wrist shot blocked by Hall, who chips it out to center. Jovanovski recovers. Plays back to Blake, right side of the Canadian line.
Well, the Canadians have the Americans on the run right now in their own zone. They're just not doing a good job defensively, and Team Canada's realizing that. They're getting their D involved every play.
Deep into the U.S. zone behind the net, Rafalski takes over, met by Fleury, plays it up the left wing boards and out to center, goes all the way down to the Canadian zone. McInnes back to get it. Under 2 minutes to go in the first period. 1:50 to go, tied at 1. Off the boards all the way down to the U.S. zone. Housley comes back to get it behind the U.S. net. Circles the net, comes up the middle. Housley fires ahead, tipped ahead by Guerin, deep into the Canadian zone. Pronger gets there. Chant of USA from the crowd. Out to center, Gagne. Touch pass to Sakic. Down the left wing into the U.S. zone. Left circle, he looks. Fires in front. They score! Jerome Iginla off a great fade from Joe Sakic. And Canada takes a 2-1 lead.
Well, great defense leads to great offensive opportunities. Back at the other end behind Martin Brodeur. Chris Pronger was a breakout pass. Both Doug Waite and Bill Guerin went in to make a physical hit on Pronger. The puck went up the boards. Nice little redirect in the neutral zone. I believe it was Simon Gagne that one-touched the puck to Sakic. Sakic blocked time, an odd man situation. McInnes jumped in again, and what a play by Joe Sakic of the Colorado Avalanche. And talking to Jerome Iginla yesterday, he was so excited about this game. Good things happen when you go to net. 2-1 lead for Canada.
Leading goal scorer of the NHL, Jerome Iginla, gets his second of the Olympics. Canada leads with 1:20 to go in the first. U.S. puts it deep in the Canadian zone. Foot hit by Drury. Teammates on the Colorado Avalanche. It's moved up the near side by Niedermeyer to Yzerman. Cross ice feed broken up by Miller. Sends to Amonte. Circles in center. Amonte fires left wing for Leach. He got his legs taken out by Yzerman. Puck taken by Niedermeyer. Works it to Lemieux. In deep, Niedermeyer. Centers. Richter dives on top of the puck and stops play with 55 seconds to go in the first period, and Canada leading 2-1. Be sure to stay with us during our first intermission. We'll have an Olympic update with Scott Lynn, and Joe Beninati will be joined by 1980 U.S. Olympic captain Mike Eruzione.
And let's not forget, sandwiched in between the two goals for Canada was a post by Scott Niedermeyer, defenseman.
Face off deep in the U.S. zone. Suter winds it behind the net to Chelios. Chelios up the right side slowly, fires up the middle of Hull, across the red line, angles left. Into the Canada zone, wrist shot deflected into the crowd. 43 seconds to go, first period. U.S. scored first at 8:49. Tony Amonte gave them the lead. And then goals by Paul Correa and Jerome Aguinla have put Canada in front 2-1.
Well, both teams have to remember, once you get towards the end, you talk about 43 seconds left to go here in the first period, Sam. The ice kind of is getting a little bit snowy. There hasn't been many stoppages, so you have to make sure the pucks get in and out the blue line. Very important.
Lindros wins the faceoff from O'Donnell. Blake plays it left side to Jovanovski out to center. It's knocked away. Picked up by Leclerc. Feeds Hull down the right wing to Leclerc. Right circle. He pulls up. Checked by Jovanovski. Feeds Hull. A shot blocked by Ryan Smith. Taken off the boards by Jovanovski. Chips it around near side from Nolan. He's tied up there by Suter. Long shot by Leclerc. High off the glass. And Karam's all the way out to center. Chelios gets there, lifts it over the boards into the U.S. bench. Play stops with 18 seconds to go in the first period. Now's a good time to remind you to consider joining the United States Air Force. When you cross into the blue, everything is different and important, especially you.
Speaking of the Air Force, these guys have been flying everywhere along this ice here in this gold medal game, Team USA and Team Canada. And Sam, I can honestly say so far, it's lived up to the billing.
Face-off just outside the U.S. zone. Roenick and Sakic, they battle at the line, poked into the U.S. zone. Rafalski takes it, feeds left side of Housley. Circles back, plays to Rafalski. Aguinla on the forecheck. Up the middle, off the stick of Sakic. Kachuk plays to Young, who drives it on goal. Stick to side by Brodeur. And it goes up into the crowd with 3 seconds to go in the first period, and Canada leading 2-1.
Well, enough time here to set up a face-off play of some sort. Jeremy Roenick will be taking the face-off to the right of Martin Brodeur. Probably try to line somebody up in behind him, so it's an opportunity. Steve Eisman for Team Canada. 2 outstanding centermen, 2 outstanding face-off guys here. Team USA going to try to set some sort of a play up here, set a pick, try to give enough time to get a shot on goal.
Face-off to the right of Martin Brodeur, Roenick, and Yzerman. And now Bill McCreary directing somebody off the ice. Housley going off, and Rafalski coming back.
Too late of a change. Herb Brooks tried to get Phil Housley out there. Rafalski off. 3 seconds left to go here in the first period.
Rafalski sets up in the slot. Roenick talking to the linesman, the international linesman, Antti Hamalainen.
Now Roenick's got kicked out of the faceoff, so now Team USA has to readjust their faceoff because Roenick was trying to win the puck back to the middle. Kachuk coming to the boards.
And it's won by Yzerman deep. McInnes winds it behind the net. Buzzer sounds. First period is over. A lot of excitement already in the gold medal game. The U.S. got it. The majority crowd, and it is a majority of U.S. fans here, but there are a lot of Canadian fans here. But the U.S. got the homeland crowd on its feet with Tony Amonte's goal at 8:49, and then Canada started to take over. Paul Correa off a nice pass from Chris Pronger that Lemieux let go through, tied it at 14:50. Jerome Aguinla off a great feed from Joe Sakic at 18:33. It's 2-1 Canada.
Well, the Canadians just did an outstanding job of breaking out and really creating turnovers in the neutral zone. Team USA kind of standing around a little bit in that neutral zone, and I thought the Canadians dominated when they had the puck offensively. And the first 3 shots on goal were by all defensemen. And so you know what? If it's working, let's stay with it. Niedermeyer had the post. Jovanovski had a great opportunity. McInnes has jumped into play as well. Pronger. So all their defensemen are seeing that the U.S. wingers are really staying down low. They're taking advantage of that.
But the U.S. did have a couple of odd man rushes in that first period.
Well, they took it, when you gamble like that, the Canadians jumping in defensively like Niedermeyer did, and Foote was the only defensive back, you can take advantage of that. But really, it's reading and reacting in the offensive zone. As if you have an opportunity, you go. If not, you just chip the puck down low. But you're right. The U.S. had a couple opportunities, but I thought for the majority of the play in the offensive zones, I thought Canada dominated.
End of 1 in the gold medal game. Canada 2, U.S. 1. Now we send it back to Scott Lynn in our Westwood 1 studios for an Olympic update. Scott?
Sam, thanks very much. One other event today on this, the final day of competition at Salt Lake City, the 30K cross-country ski for the women. Now 10 medals, that is, for Larissa Lazutna of Russia. And this one's gold. Lazutna bounced from Thursday's relay with a high red blood cell count. She finished first. Gabriella Peruzzi of Italy took the silver, and what a close for countrywoman Stefania Belmondo. Her 9th medal. This one was bronze.
For me, sport is very important. I very much kilometer training, and for me, finish competition Olympic Games.
And that means she is through and will retire from Olympic competition. What about Johan Muleg, Spanish skier who dominated in the men's cross-country skiing, tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance, but it's not yet on the banned list. A suspension or perhaps even a stripping of his medals awaits. We will hear from the IOC shortly. And after all eyes and ears leave the E-Center Arena for the gold medal men's hockey game, all eyes and ears will be on Rice-Eccles Stadium for the closing ceremonies of the 19th Winter Games. Salt Lake Olympic Committee President Mitt Romney offers a sneak peek.
The closing ceremony is designed to be a celebration of the games and the athletes. And our plan is to have some humor and to have some wonderful entertainment and concerts. But it's a celebration, and it is not as emotionally linked or as emotionally charged as was opening ceremonies. I think it'll be beautiful and fun, but it's exciting and entertaining and celebrating in nature.
Westwood One Steve Futterman has even more.
Like any closing ceremony, there will be parts which are strict protocol, other parts which are loose and free. There will be the lowering of the Olympic flag, the extinguishing of the flame. But once that's done, it'll be mostly a party atmosphere. Lots of musical performances. Among the performers, Christina Aguilera, Bon Jovi, and Harry Connick Jr.
Coming up next, it's a visit from our Joe Beninati as he sits down with a man who needs no introduction, especially on a weekend like this and a day like this, Mike Eruzione. After one period of play from E-Center in the gold medal men's hockey game, Canada, thanks to goals from Paul Correa and Jerome McGinley, 2-1 over the States. The lone U.S. tally from Tony Amonte. This is Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics.
It's Adam and Dave from Tweeter. You know what, folks? Dave and I have had to form a support group. Yes, to help people with their audio-video problems. I have a letter here. It says, Dear Adam and Dave, I never thought it would happen to me. I want surround sound, but my wife has threatened to leave me if the speakers are too big. Signed, Sleeping on the Couch. We've heard this story so many times, Adam. Well, Sleeping on the Couch, have we got a solution for you? What have we got? Small speakers with big sound. How about Boston Acoustics System 9000? Boston Acoustics. Comes with a Yamaha receiver with the latest 6.1 technology. Dolby Digital. Oh, yeah. Wise Buy. Save $1,000, right? That's absolutely true. Small shelf speakers. She's going to love them. You're going to love the sound. Got it. This is for you, buddy. We're with you. All the help without any of that fussy hugging. We were United Audio and Douglas TV. Now we're Tweeter. Audio, video, and a boatload of know-how.
Visit the brand new Tweeter locations in Crystal Lake, Geneva, and Downers Grove.
Your Corex man can do a lot your dealer mechanic can do. But let's prove it. Can they both whistle in an ultra-high frequency undetectable to the human ear? The dealer mechanic.
USA Hockey, this has got to be so exciting for you.
You know, it really is outstanding the way this tournament's unfolded, you know, and the United States team, I can't be happier for them. You know, after what happened in Nagano, I mean, they came here with the absolute mission of performing well, and they really have. And, you know, we'll see what's going to happen in the game. There's two great countries, two great teams, but I'm really happy for these guys.
These are two teams that know each other so very well. I would imagine that sort of familiarity is going to lead to a game as we go along in this contest where, you know what, emotions are going to get the better of some people.
Well, that's going to be interesting, you know, as, you know, Chris Chelios going to go after one of his teammates from Detroit, you know, or is Keith Kachuk going to whack somebody on the leg who's going to be playing with next week. So, yeah, it's a whole different situation now. They're playing for their country, and, you know, whether you like the pros in the games or not, and I'm not a big fan of the pros in the Olympic Games, this still is players playing for their country, and I think there's a lot of pride at stake tonight.
22 years ago, when you and your mates did the job, it must have been a remarkable accomplishment for a bunch of youngsters. When it's professional athletes now, do you think there's any difference?
No, there's no difference at all, because they're trying to show the world who the best hockey team is and who the best hockey players are. You know, in our day, it was a little different format, a little different setup. The Soviet Union was the Soviet Union. Now they're Russia. This, I think, becomes a big rivalry for the United States, because we've always, I think, taken a back seat to the Canadians, and it's been their game, and they've always let you know it's their game. But I think this is, again, an opportunity for the American players to show everybody everybody how far we've come in the sport of ice hockey.
Joe Beninati along with Mike Eruzione between periods as Team USA is facing Canada in the gold medal matchup. Mike, back in 1980, of course, goaltending was huge, and you would expect that it would be today. Two guys who are very used to playing against one another in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area. What do you think is going through the minds of Brodeur and Richter right now?
Well, I think obviously not to lose the game for their team. I think they want to keep their team in the game, make the saves they need to make. Going to be goals scored. That's obviously going to happen. There's too many great forwards out there playing. But, I look at the way Mike Richter has played. He was spectacular against Russia when they needed him to be. And that's kind of always been his M.O., Big games, especially international games, he's performed very well. Brodeur at the other end, he handles the puck so well. In this format here with the big sheet of ice, no red line, you got to watch out for him just starting breakouts on his own.
Mike, simple question. How special was it for you to be handed that Olympic torch back at the opening ceremonies?
I think that was the ultimate honor. To give an athlete, to be an Olympian is something that's very, very special. To win a gold medal is special, but to have the Olympic Committee and the people associated with the Olympics have that much respect for me and my teammates to give us the ultimate honor is something that, it's hard to describe. It's something I'll always cherish.
Mike, it's great to hear your voice, to see you here to lend support to the U.S. national team today. Best wishes to you.
Well, thank you very much.
That is Mike Eruzione. It's 2-1 Canada after 20 minutes. Sam Rosen and Eddie Olczyk are back in to call period 2 for you in a moment. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics on Westwood One.
Come on, Dad.
Sam Rosen, Eddie Olczyk, Joe Beninati at the East Center in Salt Lake City, getting set for the start of the second period. Eddie, one of the things about this game is seeing teammates going against one another. 9 different NHL teams have players on the rival sides, on the U.S.-Canada going opposite one another. We saw Eric Lindros checking on Brian Leach. We saw Brian Rafalski shooting on Martin Brodeur. We see Keith Tkachuk going against Al McInnes and Chris Pronger. Interesting rivalries there.
It really is, and putting myself in that position and doing it in world championships and in different places that I have played there's no better feeling than beating your friends. And I think all these guys would say certainly they would love to beat the other guy, because you know what's going to happen the rest of this season. There's going to be that little ribbon going on and on the rest of the year.
Some dignitaries in attendance today. The Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, is here. The former mayor of New York, Rudolph Giuliani, is here. A lot of excitement in the building. Martin Brodeur in goal to our right. Mike Richter in goal to our left. Eric Lindros and Mike Modano set to face off. Bill McCreary drops the puck. Modano wins it back to Suter. Right side of Chelios at the blue line. Up the middle. It's knocked down by Nolan. Picked up by Lindros. Cross the U.S. line. Dropped to Nolan. Quick shot goes wide. Rebound to the near side. Played by Ryan Smith for Canada. Knocked away from him. Played up the boards. Kept in by Pronger. Then carried out by Leclerc. Breaks left at the Canadian line. And a whistle offside. Offside. Brett Hull just ahead of the play. 19 seconds into the second period. For Team USA, Eddie, one of the things that they needed to do, and they talked about this, was score on the power play. They went 0 for 2 in that first period, the only 2 power plays of the game.
Well, that was their bread and butter in the semifinal game against the Russians. All 3 goals on the power play, so you're right. And I think what happens, too, is they had a couple good chances, Sam, but not enough to really create some momentum to build some confidence.
Here's Roenick, Young, and Mike York on the wing here, not Keith Tkachuk. Canada comes to center, foot up the middle to Lemieux, dumps it in deep, played off the end boards by Richter into the corner. Miller tried to chip it ahead. It was blocked by Yzerman. They battle in the corner. Puck still alive. It's 1-on-1. Miller and Yzerman. Yzerman trying to work it in deep. Gave it away to Roenick. Roenick carries up the left side. Slides it cross ice to Young in center. Cuts to the middle across the red line. Across the Canadian line, angles left. Top of the left circle, checked by Correa. Goes in deep around the net. Plays right corner to Roenick. Roenick up the boards, winds it behind the net for York. He's checked by Adam Foote, taken down by Foote. Lemieux knocks the puck away, swings it around the boards for Yzerman. Yzerman up the right side of center. Yzerman to the red line. Into the middle, Niedermeyer coming forward. Into the right circle, knocked away. Retrieves in the right corner, deep in the U.S. zone. Put it in front, it was knocked away from McGinley. Played up the boards, kept in at the right point by Blake. Slides it ahead for Sakic. Sakic cross ice behind Gagne, who was tipped away by Young. Gagne winds it into the corner to McGinley. McGinley checked by Young. Correa comes in, Sakic comes in to help out. Skates toward the net, pulls back, making a move on Aaron Miller. Skates behind the net. Former teammates in Colorado. Sakic out front. The shot goes over the top. Richter may have gotten a piece. Rebound to the near side. Sakic keeps it in. Miller takes it away. Winds it around the board. Down comes Jovanovski. Plays it toward the net. Deflected off Young and off the post. Almost went in off a U.S. stick. Kept in right point. Shot by Blake. Blocked and intercepted by Young. Fires out to center too far for Roenick, but icing waved off. Played by Rob Blake deep in the Canadian zone. Blake, as both teams change, plays it out to center to Fleury. Tips it into the U.S. zone. Stopped side of the net by Richter for Chelios. Circles the net. Comes up the left side. Met by Fleury. Carries to center. Carries to the Canadian line and dumps it in. Offside U.S. again. 2:11 gone by. Second period. Canada leading 2-1 in the gold medal game.
Well, Team Canada just continuing to start where they left off in that first period, getting their defensemen involved. And Eddie Jovanovski, I think, has had an outstanding Olympics for Team Canada. Really has matured as a player when he got traded from the Florida Panthers to the Vancouver Canucks. Took the shot, and you called it beautifully, Sam, off the post. And it went off the stick first and then the post past Mike Richter.
Canadians win the draw. Pronger to the red line, dumps it in, and Canada's offside. So another whistle slowing things down. 2:18 gone by. Second period, face-off out at the red line.
Well, it seems like Herb Brooks, the coach of Team USA, is trying to get his players involved a little bit. All these players that play in the National Hockey League, obviously, they're all used to playing a lot, 26, 28 minutes a game. But he seems like he's shortened his bench already. You mentioned about Tkachuk not playing, York taking his place. Now the Madonna, Leclerc, and Hull line back out for their second shift, 2.5 minutes into the second period.
Face-off won by the U.S. in their own zone. Wanderado Rafalski, rink wide for Leclerc at the red line, fires it around the boards. Brodeur had it go off his stick. Pronger try to play it. He's checked by Madonna deep in the Canadian zone. Pronger battling. He's double-teamed by Hull. Able to get it to Lemieux and around to McInnes right side in the Canada zone. Up the middle for Correa. Goes by him all the way down to icing. 2:44 gone by. We've had 3 whistles in the last 30 seconds of play. Brendan Shanahan has gone off for Canada into the locker room. Looks to be an equipment problem because medical trainer Jim Ramsey is still on the bench. Face-off deep in the Canada zone. Canada leading 2-1. We're early second period. Doug Waite on the face-off against Eric Lindros to the right of Brodeur. Loose, taken by Deadmarsh, shot to the net and stopped by Brodeur for Niedermeyer. Up the left side of Ryan Smith, carries to center, across the red line. Into the U.S. zone against Aaron Miller. Carries deep to the left corner. Poked away by Miller. It's loose behind the net. Nolan goes for it. It's played in front. Leach tried to move it on the backhand. It was knocked down, then lifted clear by Bill Guerin. Bounces down in center. Deadmarsh carries down the left wing. Meets Adam Foote. Former teammates in Colorado. Around the net to the near side of Waite. Shot from the sideboards goes wide. Rebound to the far side. Leach gets over. Gave it away to Lindros. Then he lost it to Leach at the blue line in front of the U.S. bench. Lindros pokes it to the U.S. line. Carried across by Iginla. He winds and fires. Stick save by Richter. Rebound on the near side in the U.S. zone. Niedermeyer winds it past Iginla behind the net. Miller goes for it. Sakic takes it away. Sakic tripped up. Miller able to move the puck up and out to center. Past Deadmarsh. It's recovered by Sakic. Fires into the middle. Intercepted by Waite. Across the Canadian line. Angles to the right circle. Backhander. A save by Brodeur. And he covers up. Waite, as he skated by, tried to tap it through the pads of Brodeur, but Brodeur had the pads tight and held on. 3:45 to go, and 3:45 gone by in the second period. It's 2-1 Canada.
Doug Waite on that one-on-one situation. He saw that Scott Niedermeyer defenseman was a little slow getting up on him, so he wanted to get the puck to the outside. He took a nice backhand. It seemed like that puck was rolling, and those are always tough for a goaltender to stop.
Drury wins the face-off, and Canada knocks it away and out of the zone. Drury, Ralston, and Amati the line for Team USA. Canada with Sakic, Kanye, and Iginla. And a chant of USA goes up from the crowd as Amati carries up the left side of center. Gets to the red line. Lost control. It's cleared out by Rob Blake. Fleury couldn't play it. Knocked away by Suter. Suter and Fleury battle in front of the U.S. bench. Taken by Rob Blake for Canada at the blue line. Up the middle of Gagne. Across the U.S. line. Cuts through the middle and shoots. Saved by Richter. Rebound played by Gary Suter for the U.S. Out to center up the right wing. Amati into the Canada zone. Right circle to the corner. Plays it back to Drury. To the point to Chelios for a shot deflected up into the crowd. Shanahan back on the ice, sliding across to block that shot. And up into the crowd it goes. 4:29 gone by, second period. Canada leading 2-1.
Well, how about that pass by Rob Blake? He was right in front of the Team USA bench, and Simon Gagne of the Philadelphia Flyers just shot right between Gary Suter and Chris Chelios. A one-on-one situation. Great play by Blake. He was going to his right, came back to his left, got a weak shot off, but outstanding opportunity there for Simon Gagne.
Madonna wins the face-off from Yzerman out to center. Housley skates back to the U.S. line. Up the left side, he gave it away to McInnes. Backhands to the U.S. line, blocked by Rafalski. Knocked down, loose puck, picked up by Correa. Across the U.S. line, down the middle with a drive. Save by Richter. What a shot by Correa. And Richter jumped up with that left glove, shot the left glove up and knocked the puck down and covered up.
That puck jumped off the stick of Paul Correa. It was almost like a slingshot. It wasn't. He didn't take that big of a backswing as well, Sam, and that's important for young hockey players. Everybody wants to take the big slap shot and stuff, but sometimes the most toughest ones to stop are the real quick shots, and that's exactly what Correa did.
Face off to the right of Mike Richter. Yzerman wins it. It goes deep in the U.S. zone. Leach plays it up the boards for LeClaire. Off his stick out to center. Recovered by McInnes at the red line. Holds. His pass deflected ahead. Yzerman had it knocked away by Madonna. Batted down by Leach. Picked up by Madonna in center. He one hands to the Canadian line where Pronger takes over. Pronger back skates into his own zone. Feeds right side to Al McInnes. Skates out to center. Lifts it to the U.S. line. It's blocked by Miller out to center. Picked up by Madonna. Circles in his own end. Madonna picks up speed down the middle into the Canada zone. Big drive saved by Brodeur. Rebound to the far side. Chipped at by Pronger. Bounces down. Madonna's got it. Side of the left circle. He's tied up by Eric Lindros. It's knocked away by Pronger into Nolan. Into the middle of Correa. To the red line. Right side of Nolan. Cuts to the middle at the U.S. line. Cross the line offside. Lindros ahead of the play. 5:32 gone by. Second period. Canada 2. U.S. 1. And a reminder to stay with NHL Radio and Westwood 1 on many of these same stations throughout the NHL season. We'll bring you NHL action right through the crowning of a new Stanley Cup champion. On March 4th, it'll be a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup finalists. The New Jersey Devils travel to Colorado to take on the Avalanche. Airtime 7:45 NHL Radio and Westwood 1, your exclusive leader in NHL radio play-by-play sports.
Well, back to the National Hockey League on Tuesday. For a lot of these players, boy, oh boy, it's going to be taking the air out of the balloon.
Wow. Suter to center off the face-off. Rink wide, stolen, knocked down by Smith. Breaks to the right circle, turns. His shot deflected by Chelios into the crowd. 5:42 gone by in the second as the giveaway by the U.S. almost a dangerous play.
Well, yeah, Gary Suter of the San Jose Sharks tried to pass the puck through the middle, and as we talked about earlier, is that the Canadian team has really just done a wonderful job of staying in the middle of the ice, knowing that Team USA likes to make those long passes like the European teams have. They've adapted so well, and what a play by Ryan Smith of the Edmonton Oilers to knock that great hand-eye coordination and be able to do that. And that was a bullet pass, too, by Suter. Great job by Ryan Smith.
Roenick wins the face-off from Lindros. Puck behind the U.S. net. Rafalski moves it up the right side. Carried out to center. Roenick in the middle. He's tripped up by Ryan Smith. Nothing called on the play. Deep goes Tom Pody. His shot saved by Brodeur. Rebound loose in front. Trickles into the crease and is covered by Brodeur. 5:58 gone by in the second period. Canada leading 2-1. All the scoring in the first period. U.S. got the first goal. Tony Amonte. And then Correa and Aguila for Canada.
I think for Team USA to really get sustaining some pressure, it just kind of looks like they're sitting back a little bit too much following them the whole Olympic competition, Sam. They've always been on their toes. They've always been on the aggression. Just seems that Canada's done a good job of keeping them back.
Wait. On the face-off, gets it to Guerin. Right side of Chelios, left side of Suter. Long shot save. Brodeur bounces down and is played by Sakic. Circles the net. Gets away from Deadmarsh. Feeds to the left side of Jovanovski. Skates to center. From the red line, he fires it around the boards. Winds to the far side. Gagne is there. He's checked by Suter. In deep to Aguila, right corner. Dropped it off. Chelios knocks it away. Waite going to help out. It's knocked away to the near side, where it's played by Guerin. Reverses to the far side to Adam Deadmarsh. He turns and plays it out to center for Waite. Tipped away by Blake. Loose puck in center, and is picked up by Joe Sakic. Left side of Aguila. Aguila met by Chelios. Puts it in the U.S. zone. Suter goes to get it. Backhands it up the boards to Guerin. Guerin out the center, ahead for Waite. Waite down the right side into the Canadian zone, checked by Jovanovski. Moves it to Deadmarsh, right circle. Try to center, blocked by Nieuwendyk. Waite winds it in deep. Nieuwendyk goes back to get it for Canada. Newendijk plays it up ahead for Fleury in center. Theo Fleury across the line, cuts to the middle in the U.S. zone, high in the slot. Goes by one man, goes by two, and then he lost control. He went by Leach and Amonte, but couldn't get a shot off. Long shot by McGinnis, save. Rebound with Richter down. He's got it covered. 7:04 gone by in the second period. Still 2-1. Canada, dangerous moment. Big shot by Al McInnes. Who else? And then Richter was able to cover up on the rebound.
Well, when you're playing one-on-one against highly skilled players, you cannot watch the puck. That's what Leach did, and that's what Amani did. Theo Fleury did a great job coming down the left wing boards, cut across, beat his teammate in New York, and walked in and lost control in front of his other teammate in New York, Mike Richter.
Set up for Lemieux in front. His shot blocked by Miller. Comes to the left point. Shot by Pronger. Missed the net. Goes all the way back into the Canadian zone. Al McInnes goes back to get it. Chris Drury bearing down on him. Pokes it away. Correa is back there. Works it behind the Canadian net. Keith Tkachuk has not played thus far in the second period.
He's sitting right next to Mike Dunham, the backup goalie.
Miller winds it in deep. Pronger stops it behind the goal line. Drury got taken down, and he's slowly limping toward the U.S. bench. Miller, left side in the U.S. zone to Leach, back into the middle of Miller. Aaron Miller up ahead for Leclerc, deflects it on goal. A bouncer blocked by Brodeur as he went to his knees, blocked it with his chest. Pronger fires out to center. Lifted into the U.S. zone by Correa. Right side, Michael Pekka. Centers, and it goes all the way into the corner. Played up the near boards. U.S. carries to center. Up the right side, Brett Hull into the Canadian zone. Long shot saved by Brodeur. Good shot by Brett Hull. Rebound cleared all the way down. It's an icing on Canada. 8:06 gone by in the second. 2-1. Canada leading it. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is exclusive coverage of Olympic hockey on Westwood One, America's leader in play-by-play radio sports.
Spanning 2 centuries of Chicago sports radio, this is the 50,000-watt voice of the fan, WSCR-Chicago. The Score, Sports Radio 670, an Infinity Broadcasting Station.
Face off to the left of Martin Brodeur. Jeremy Roenick is on with Mike York and Scott Young for the U.S. Puck dropped. One back by Pekka to Niedermeyer. Plays behind the net. Adam Foote swings it around the boards by Lindros. All the way back into the U.S. zone. Deep. Rafalski goes to get it. Skates behind the net under pressure from Lindros. Feeds York. He's hit hard by Pekka. Plays to Housley. Out to center to Roenick. Down the left wing against Adam Foote. Goes into the left circle with speed. Backhander on goal. Save Brodeur. Rebound side of the net. Cleared away. To the sideboards. Down comes Chelios to get it. Plays it toward the net. A bouncer deflected. Roenick couldn't tee up a shot. Comes to Pekka left side and he clears the zone. Housley recovers for the U.S. Skates back to his own line. Feeds Chelios up to the red line. Fires it down the board. Bounces by Brodeur to the near side. Niedermeyer there to play it. Niedermeyer, pressured by Leclerc, takes it away. Feeds past Hull and out of the zone. Hull looked like he wanted to wind up for a one-timer, but the pass was too hard and went by him.
And I think he realized that Gary Suter was behind him as well.
Across the line, Leclerc, left side, feeds Hull, center of the blue line. His shot blocked by Niedermeyer. Deflects into the corner. Gagne against Hull at the end line. Along the end board, skating behind the net is Gagne. Hull's got his stick in the jersey. Penalty upcoming on Brett Hull. He got the stick caught up in Gagne's jersey, and there's delayed penalty on the U.S. Canadians clear it out to center. Niedermeyer across the U.S. line, 2-on-1 with Lindros. Lindros gets a shut off, saved by Richter. It was deflected in front, and Richter falling down. Got his body on top of it. Power play coming up for Canada. 9:27 gone by in the second. 2-1 Canada leading. This is Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics.
Olympic skier and gold medal winner Peekaboo Street has suffered torn ligaments, broken bones, and 7 surgeries, but swore she'd keep skiing. Some said, what's the point? This year she got thrown off a ski run for going too fast. That's the point. This February on the networks of NBC, the games come home to America, where you can see Peekaboo Street bomb downhill at 75 miles an hour. You know why? To get a shiny piece of gold. Peekaboo Street at the Winter Olympics, starting February 8th on the networks of NBC.
The Score.
First power play of the game for Team Canada. Hull goes for high sticking at 9:27. Pronger out from behind his net, up the middle to center. Nolan, Correa, and Lemieux up front. Pronger and McInnes play the point. Shot in, blocked by Amante. Hit him in the chest. He felt that a little bit. It's kept in deep in the U.S. zone by Team Canada. On the sideboards, Miller trying to poke it loose. Miller and Leach, Amante and Ralston, the penalty killers. U.S. has given up only 2 power play goals in the tournament. Lemieux, side of the left circle, back pass, center of the line. McInnes turns in deep for Pronger. Pronger, right wing boards, winds it in deep for Nolan behind the net. He got caught by Miller with a high stick. It's going to be a 2-man advantage for Canada. Shot by Correa, saved by Richter, and the whistle stops play. With 1:08 to go in the penalty to Brett Hull. Another penalty upcoming. Paul Correa was clipped with a high stick by Aaron Miller. And it'll be a 2-minute high sticking call.
Oh, Owen Nolan, who was behind, and no question about it. Referee Bill McCurry saw it, so Aaron Miller goes to the box, a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 8 seconds. And going back to that last opportunity right before the call on Brett Hull, a 2-on-1, Lindros and Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer, defenseman, jumping in. Richter with an unbelievable save. That puck stopped right on the goal line.
My apologies. It was, as you said, Eddie, Owen Nolan got clipped with a high stick. So now a 5-on-3. Big point of the game. Canada sends on Correa, Lemieux, Nolan, Sakic, and Blake for the power play. U.S. 3, Suter, Chelios, and Roenick. Back to the left point. Wound ahead for Lemieux. Carries into the left corner. Skates into the left circle. Back pass to Sakic. Skates high in the slot. Turns, feeds Lemieux. Back to Sakic. Right side of Blake, top of the circle. In deep side of the net, Correa. Back to Blake, high in the slot. He shoots. Save, Richter. Rebound. Taken by Correa on the right corner. Checked by Suter. Knocks him down. Nolan had it knocked away by Chelios. Comes to Blake's side of the circle. He holds into the corner to Correa. Back to Blake, top of the circle. He shoots. Save, Richter. Rebound. Lemieux hit the post. He had a wide open net. He hit the post. Rebound along the boards. 30 seconds to go. 2-man advantage. Taken away by Chelios. Fires it up the boards. Nolan got a piece of it. Kept in by Owen Nolan. Side of the left circle. Back to Sakic. High in the slot. To Lemieux. Left circle. Back to Sakic. Winds and shoots it. And it's deflected off the end boards. Comes to Richter and he gloves it and he holds on. 17 seconds to go in a 2-man advantage. Mario Lemieux. Wide open net, banged it off the post on the rebound.
Oh, Rob Blake with the shot. Oh, and Nolan doing a great job. He kicks it with his left skate over to Lemieux. And in fairness to Lemieux, the puck was rolling. And anytime the puck rolls, it'll continue to slide down your blade. He had the wide open net. You don't see Lemieux miss that wide open net very often.
8:50 to go, second period, 2-1 Canada. Face-off win by Yzerman. Comes left point to Pronger. Back to the right side of McInnes. Left side of Pronger. Moving in slowly. Now McInnes turns, winds and drives wide. Rebound up to the line. Pronger gets over to keep it in. Pronger, right side of McInnes. Back to Pronger, left side. Back to McInnes. Winds and shoots, deflected by Madonna into the crowd. 49 seconds to go in the power play. It's now a 5-on-4 as Brett Hull is returned. 8.5 minutes to go in the second. Crowd cheering the U.S. penalty killers. It's still 2-1 Canada.
Great job by Mike Madonna of the Dallas Stars and Team USA. McInnes and Pronger did a beautiful job of slowly moving in. They weren't standing out high at the blue line. They continue to move in. Madonna right between them. He led with his stick.
Face-off goes to the line. Kept in. Pronger shoots. It's blocked. Blocked by Tony Amante. Kept in deep in the left corner. Shanahan battling Chelios. Teammates with the Detroit Red Wings. Puck up the boards to the blue line. Kept in by Pronger. Right side of McInnes. Pressured by Ralston. He blocked it. It's fired all the way down by Amante. Brodeur stops it behind the net. Leaves it for Al McInnes. Circles the net. Comes up the left side. Cuts to the middle of center. McInnes to the red line. Fires it wide of the net. Off the end boards. Big rebound. McInnes gets to it himself. Centers. Shot by Shanahan. Deflected. Suter got a piece. Up the boards. Kept in by Yzerman. Checked by Roenick. Shanahan tries to move it up the boards to McInnes. He does. Side of the circle. Long shot goes wide. 8 seconds to go in the power play. It's out of the zone. Pronger recovers. Back skates into his own zone. Power play is over. Back in full strength. 2-on-1 across the line, Canada. Now it's evened up. Played in deep by Ryan Smith. Back behind the net. Fired around by Scott Young. All the way out it goes down to the Canada zone. Icing on Team USA. 7.5 minutes to go. Second period. The USA withstood a 5-on-3 Canada power play for 1:08, and it's still 2-1 Canada.
Well, the fans here in the East Center for the United States waving their flags, standing on their feet, knowing that was just a huge bullet that they dodged against Team Canada, a 5-on-3. But how about the Americans doing a great job of not running around while shorthanded?
Waite against Lindros in the circle to the left of Richter. Still loose, comes in front. Miller moves it, deflects out to center. Play to the right side of Foote at the red line. Foote winds up, drives it around the boards. Near side, Doug Waite goes over. Waite plays it behind the net, taken away by Ryan Smith. He's checked by Miller along the end boards. They battle one-on-one. Smith trying to keep it alive. Miller pinning him to the board. Smith starts moving into the right corner. Skates out to the right circle. He turns, skates up to the blue line, winds it in deep. Miller goes for it. Lindros and Fleury there. Lindros takes over, try to center, is blocked by Leach. New York Ranger teammates played to Ryan Smith behind the net. Smith looking. Lindros trying to gain position. Smith, side of the net. Couldn't stuff it in. It was knocked away behind the net. Waite's got it up the boards. Foote keeps it in. Gave it away. Waite clears it out. Gave it away to Foote in front of the Canada bench. Foote crosses the line. Dumps it deep. U.S. has not been able to get the puck into the Canadian zone for quite some time. Yzerman takes away. Puts it in front. Miller blocked it. Correa turns and shoots, and it's blocked by Miller. Rebound to the far side. Deadmarsh skates out to center. Down the left wing. Dumps it into the Canada zone. Stopped behind the net by Brodeur. Deadmarsh after it. Brodeur fires it around the boards and out to center. Rafalski stops it. Left side of the blue line to Housley. Back to Rafalski. Up the middle. Left wing feed off the skate of LeClaire. Back out to center. Picked up by Lemieux. Down the right side. Right circle. Fakes. Circles. Turns back. Drops it in the corner. Housley gets there for the U.S. His pass blocked. He moves it up the boards. LeClaire tried to chip it out of the zone. He does. Lemieux recovers. 6 minutes to go in the second. 2-1 Canada. Eric Brewer to the red line. Moves it ahead for Ginla. Breaks into the left circle. Turns. His pass blocked. Into the corner. Housley checks Ginla. Moved up the boards. Kept in by Canada. Gagne's side of the net. Bumped by Rafalski. Housley fires it around the boards and out to center. All the way back. It rolls into the Canadian zone. Pronger goes back behind the net to get it.
Well, the defense for Team USA, anytime there's any pressure at all, they're just firing the puck around the boards, and Canada's defense are just holding that blue line position.
Deep in the Canadian zone, McInnes takes a hit, able to move it up the boards, kept in, puck to Scott Young, skates high in the slot, goes to the left circle, backhander saved by Brodeur. Penalty upcoming on Canada, an interference call. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics on Westwood One.
No one dances all night long. When it's time to cool down, nothing's colder than ice. Dentine Ice. Delicious cold minty shell outside, sub-zero flavor inside. This gum puts your breath on ice for a long, long time. Dentine Ice. Nothing's colder than ice.
Third power play of the game for Team USA. McInnes for interference. Face off the Canadian zone. And the back pass by Deadmarsh comes out. Keith Tkachuk has not played in his second period. Leach and Housley at the points. Waite, Guerin, and Deadmarsh up front for the power play. Foote and Blake on defense. Pekka and Nolan, the forwards for the penalty-killing Canada. Behind the Canadian net. Played into the corner to Guerin. Up the boards for Leach. He's pressured by Pekka. Centers to Housley. He shoots, deflected in front, poked away. Rebound save on Deadmarsh, and Brodeur's got it. Big-time pressure. Deadmarsh had a chance at the rebound, and Martin Brodeur dove on top.
Beautiful play by Brian Leach of the New York Rangers, getting the puck to Phil Housley of the Chicago Blackhawks. Team USA did a beautiful job. They had three people in front of the net, old-fashioned power play, meat and potatoes, a wrist shot by Housley. The puck was actually slowed down by Adam Deadmarsh of the Los Angeles Kings. He wasn't able to get the puck through to Martin Brodeur.
Modano against Sakic on the face-off to the left of Brodeur. Play back to the line to Rafalski. Sends it ahead of Modano, side of the right circle. He holds. Plays it back to Rafalski for a shot blocked by Yzerman in front. Comes to Brett Hull, side of the left circle. Holds along the boards. Looking. Plays back to Tom Poti. Now to Hull, top of the circle. Centers to Modano. Feeds Rafalski. Turns. Plays it in front. They score! John LeClaire with a power play goal has tied it for Team USA. Great pass by Brian Rafalski sets it up. LeClaire's 7th goal of the Olympics.
Well, Mike Modano made a nice play off the feed from Brett Hull. Rafalski, the defenseman, jumping in, and it might have went off the stick of Chris Pronger in front of the net under Martin Brodeur. Rafalski was trying to get the puck to John LeClaire off to the side, but a power play goal for Team USA. They could not connect in the first period, but Rafalski jumping in, reading the weak side, got the play by Modano. How about that backhand pass to Modano?
It's Rafalski's goal. It was deflected in off the Canadian defense. Lindros crossed the U.S. line, feeds Nolan, right circle in front. Goes by Ryan Smith. 4:15 to go in the second period. Game tied. They've credited LeClaire, but it looked like clearly on the replay that it was deflected in off the Canadian defense. Lindros back pass, left point to Niedermeyer. Toward the net, saved by Richter. Rebound comes to Chelios. Game tied 2-2. The U.S. with its 8th power play goal of the Olympics. They are 8 for 24, 33% on the power play. To center, Ralston winds up, drives it on goal, blocked it away by Brodeur. Carried out to center in front of the U.S. bench, sent back in by Ralston. Brodeur stops it behind the net. He turns, plays it up and out to center. Fleury's pass cross ice for Correa. Correa was taken down, and a penalty upcoming, a tripping call. It looks like Jeremy Roenick is going to go for tripping, and he does. It'll be the second power play on Canada. Correa taken down on the play.
Well, Roenick came off the bench. Team USA was in the middle of a change, and Paul Correa just hit that neutral zone and accelerated. He got a step on Roenick, and Roenick kind of just chopped right under his knees and took him out from under. So face off to the left of Mike Richter. 3:30 left to go here in the second period. Twos are wild, 2-2.
Yeah, Roenick for tripping at 16:30. The goal for the U.S. was credited thus far to LeClaire from Rafalski and Modano at 15:30. Canada's second power play. Come to third power play. They send it in. Blake fires it around the boards. It's wound behind the net, taken away by Aaron Miller. Bangs it off the glass and out to center. Niedermeyer and Blake play the points. Correa, Nolan, and Lemieux up front for the power play. Played off the far board, stopped by Leach. He drives one high over the net and off the end glass. Played by Niedermeyer up the left side and Nolan in center. Angles away from Chelios, cross the U.S. line to the right side. Nolan's side of the circle feeds Blake for a drive. Saved by Richter with a right pad and cleared out by Scott Young. Young and Modano, Suter and Chelios, the penalty killers. Lemieux, right side feed of Correa, side of the circle. Holds along the boards. Skates back. Winds. Fakes the shot. Cross ice Lemieux. He chips it wide. Nice pass. Lemieux missed the net. Kept in by Correa, right corner. Taken away by Chelios, and he fires it all the way down.
Well, how good is Chris Chelios playing the captain of Team USA? Another great play and defensively.
Brodeur to Pronger at the red line. He drives it around the boards in the U.S. zone. Leach fires, keeps it moving. Kept in by McInnes. Deflected off a stick into the crowd with 2:14 to go. Second period. The gold medal game is tied. 2-2, 44 seconds to go in the power play for Canada.
Well, a near miss again for Mario Lemieux. Paul Correa setting up shop on the right wing boards, a left-handed shot. Chris Pronger actually came in right in the middle to add some size and presence. Lemieux kind of fanned off that one-timer. Richter going from his left to his right.
Ralston went forward on the face-off. It goes deep in the Canadian zone. Played by McInnes. McInnes and Pronger at the point. Sakic, Neuendijk, and Iginla up front. Canadians come across the line offside. Exactly 2 minutes to go, second period of the gold medal game, tied at 2. Be sure to stay with us during our second intermission. We'll have an Olympic update with Scott Lynn. Joe Beninati will be joined by Tammy Lee Shuchuk of the gold medal winning Canadian women's hockey team.
In women's, U.S.-Canada. In men's, U.S.-Canada.
Canada trying to prove it is their game and that they are supreme in the sport. Fired in from center by Blake. Around the boards it goes. Kept in deep by Canada. Comes to the point to Jovanovski. Left point. Skates right along the blue line. He's left side. Sakic. He shoots. He scores! Canada grabs the lead. 3-2 with a power play goal.
Well, there was lots of people in front of the net, Sam. McGinley was there. Neuendijk was there. But Eddie Jovanovski did a great job of coming across the blue line. He threw the puck back his backhand. Sakic walked in. The puck was rolling. Leach and McGinley in front of the net. Neuendijk as well. And Sakic, who's got probably the quickest hands when it comes to a wrist shot in the National Hockey League, lets the puck go. And that puck was kind of ducking and diving because it was on edge. 3-2 lead for Team Canada.
And back they come across the line. Pekka with a drive and a save by Richter, and he covers up. 1:33 to go in the second period. So Canada which grabbed the lead at 2-1 at 18:33 of the first period, regains the lead at 18:19 of the second period.
Well, the reason that play can happen, you're talking about, well, how's a guy score from a wrist shot from that far out? There's people in front of the net. The goaltender can't see it. He's not going to stop it.
It may have been deflected in front. U.S. to center. Deadmarsh cuts to the middle of the blue line, dumps it into the near corner. Niedermeyer and Deadmarsh go after it. Deadmarsh with a hit on Niedermeyer, able to get it to Pekka. Swings it around to Foot. Foot fires it out of the zone all the way down. It'll be an icing on Canada. 1:14 to go in the second period. Canada leading 3-2.
We talked about the play of Eddie Jovanovski, who was a healthy scratch in Game 1 against Sweden. Team Canada head coach Paquin decided just to go with 6 defensemen. And since Jovanovski has been inserted, he's really brought size, he's brought poise, he's jumped into the play, and really, I talked about his maturity really changing from going from Florida to Vancouver. And Brian Burke, the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, just really doing a great job with Eddie Jovanovski.
Canadians control off the face-off, move it out to center. Chelios takes it back, feeds left side in the U.S. zone to Suter. Suter skates to the red line, goes right wing, where it comes to Brett Hull. He sends it in deep. Under a minute to go. Second period. Canada leading 3-2. Nolan picks it up. He's blocked by Leclerc. Nolan works it ahead to Correa, skates out the center. Into the middle to Lemieux. To the U.S. line, down the right side, Nolan. He shoots high off the glass. Rebound to the near side. Pronger at the line. Try to keep it in the zone. He didn't. He sends it deep as Canada clears out. Suter is pressured and bumped by Iginla. Sakic gets it to Iginla, right corner in the U.S. zone. Iginla taken down, gets it to Sakic. He's wrapped up by Suter. 30 seconds to go in the period. Iginla and Sakic in the corner. Sakic works it up the boards, checked by Madano, pulled down. He holds Madano's stick. They battle for the puck. Iginla gets it to Gagne, chips it in deep. It's deflected wide of the net by a high stick. And Sakic touches it, and the whistle stops play. 14 seconds to go in the period, and the faceoff will come out of the zone.
Well, with Joe Sakic touching that puck, now the faceoff's going to come all the way down. So the faceoff's going to be the right of Martin Brodeur. And it was a breakdown by Team USA. Madano, Chelios, and Suter were in the left corner to Mike Richter. Gagne and Sakic and Iginla just doing a great job of mucking and grinding. Sakic got in behind the Team USA defense. There was nobody in between him and Mike Richter. The pass was a little bit, I think it was deflected off of Simon Gagne. The puck went in behind, so the faceoff's to the right of Brodeur.
Yzerman and Roenick on the face-off. They both bend down low, and Yzerman wins it back to Foot. Foot skates behind the Canadian net to the near side. He turns, slides it ahead for Sakic. Cross ice to Fleury at the red line. Fleury holding, sends it toward the net, into the chest of Mike Richter. Buzzer sounds, and the second period has come to an end. Highs and lows for both teams. For the USA, they killed off a 2-man advantage that Canada had on the power play for 1:08. That got the building going. The U.S. came back and scored on a power play, thus far credited to John Leclerc. That tied it at 15:30, but a little over 2.5 minutes later, at 2:49 later, it was Canada on the power play and Joe Sakic getting the goal. Jovanovski and Blake have been credited with the assist. And Canada, which took a 2-1 lead into the locker room end of 1, takes a 3-2 lead into the locker room end of 2.
Oh, really liking what Canada's doing to the Americans. They're not giving them an opportunity to really skate. They're dumping the puck in. They're being really hard on some of the smaller defensemen for Team USA, and that's what they wanted to do. Make it a more of a North American type style game. Make them move the puck. Don't let them jump into the play. And on the other side, it's been a defenseman for Team Canada that have been jumping into the play, doing that outstanding job. And you go back to that 5-on-3 with Lemieux with the wide open net. Think about that, could have been the turning point of the gold medal without a doubt. But Team USA fought through it. The crowd got into it like you talked about, Sam. The big goal there in front. Leclerc was there, but Rafalski's shot clearly, you can see off the replay, went off of Pronger's stick. And then Team Canada answers right back with Joe Sakic. So 20 minutes left, sorry to say, but it's for all the marbles.
Everything you could have wanted in a gold medal game to this point. Canada and USA, 3-2 Canada, end of 2. We now send it back to Scotland in our Westwood One studios for an Olympic update. I know Scott's loving this game, right, Scott?
Oh, no doubt about it, gentlemen. Thanks, and you continue to do a great job. Before we get to the action of the final day of Olympic competition, got to take a look back at possibly the most shocking moment of this tournament to date.
2.5 to go in regulation. We're tied up at 3. Kopat launches one in. Salo juggled it. He scores! Kopat Drive from center ice. Got away from Tommy Salo and dribbled across the goal line. The unthinkable has happened for Belarus. It's 4-3 with 2:24 to go.
Our Joe Beninati on the call with part of hockey lore not too soon to be forgotten. It changed the complexion with Sweden's departure from this tournament. To the present, and it's cross-country stealing the headlines today. That'd be skiing. Russia's Larissa Lazutna, gold in the 30K. She's the same woman who had a questionable blood test on Thursday before the relay and was held out, but her blood was within acceptable red cell limits today. Italy silver and bronze with Stefania Belmondo finishing third, and her career she finishes up today, even if the next games are in her home country.
Torino, another 4 years, and for me, it's not possible.
Could it be possible that Spain's skiing success story, Johan Muelleg, loses his 3 gold medals from these games? He's tested positive for a performance enhancer, but it's not yet on the IOC's banned list. A decision is expected today. Story that still won't go away. French skating judge Marie Rennes-Lagoon has spoken yet again, and not soon after she said her home country of France pressured her. Then they didn't pressure her. Now she says it was Canadian pressure to force her into voting for the Russians back in the figures pairs mess. And as far as this evening's closing ceremonies go, entertainers including NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, Harry Connick Jr., Bon Jovi, Gloria Estefan, and Charlotte Church will be featured. What about the people in power? Our Steve Futterman takes a look.
Vice President Cheney will attend the closing ceremony, but he will not make any public comments. The only official comments will come from the IOC president, Jacques Rogue, who is likely to say these are the best winter games ever. Also, Mitt Romney, the head of the Salt Lake Organizing Committee, will speak.
Coming up next, it's more from our Joe B. as he sits down with women's hockey gold medalist Tammy Lee Shuchuk of Team Canada. After 2 periods of play from East Center, the gold medal men's match, Team Canada over the States, a 3-2 right now. A Joe Sakic power play goal is the difference. This is Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics.
Your window of opportunity for great deals on great Ford vehicles is wide open during the Ford Auto Show Window of Opportunity sales event. This is your one chance for $500 bonus cash on top of already incredible savings on Ford Explorer, Expedition, Windstar, Focus, ZX2, and Mustang. Choose $1,500 to $3,000 cash back or 0% financing. That's $1,500 to $3,000 cash back or 0% financing on America's best-selling line of cars and trucks. Ford Explorer, Expedition, Windstar, Focus, ZX2, and Mustang. But hurry, your window for $500 bonus cash won't stay open for long. Get to your local Ford store today. Not all buyers will qualify for lowest APR. See dealer to see if you qualify. Residency restrictions apply. For cashback or limited term Ford credit APR, take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 3/5/2002. Bonus cash on select models good through 2/28. Offers available on select models only. Excludes Super Crew and SVT models. See dealer for details.
Jake Leinenkugel, Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
My family has been brewing Leinenkugel's beer for 135 years. So when my brother John mentions change, I get a bit nervous.
Hey, Jake, meet Tick.
Tick?
He's a musician, and he's working on some new music to help promote our Leinie's Honey Vice. You know, make it hip.
Hip, huh?
Okay, if you want Honey to hit with the club crowd, you need to spin some fat tunes like this.
I see.
Or for that bitter, angst-filled crowd, you need this.
Pretty dope, huh, Jake?
There's certainly one dope around here. Listen, Tick, is it? You need some inspiration. See that blend of malted wheat, cluster hops, and pure Wisconsin honey? It gives our Leinie's Honey Vice a light, crisp taste. That's why people love it so much.
Wow! Okay, I think I've got it. How's this?
Now that's dope.
Refreshing Leinie's Honey Vice. Leinenkugel's, the flavor of the North Woods.
It's a multitasking jungle out there. Doing 10 things at once and doing them really well can take a lot out of you. But that's okay. I've got Centrum Performance.
Life's never been more demanding, and that eats up nutrients. Centrum Performance helps replenish them. Here's the more complete multi with higher levels of essential nutrients like key B vitamins, plus ginseng and ginkgo. It helps restore your mental and physical energy to your optimal levels.
If life wasn't so insane, I'd be bored silly.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it.
If the industry-leading Epson Stylus C80 printer were a singer, it would give you all this color and detail. And with black text of up to 20 pages per minute, it would also give you all this speed. All this for just $149 after a $30 mail-in rebate.
Sports Radio 670.
Canada will take a 3-2 lead to the third period against the United States in the men's gold medal match for these 2002 Salt Lake City Olympic Games. Joe Beninati with you for Westwood One, and we're joined by an Olympic gold medalist, Tammy Shuchuk, who is proudly draped in the red and white maple leaf of Canada. Congratulations, Tammy. For a woman who probably hasn't had much sleep in the last few days, you look remarkably fresh.
Well, it's been so energizing being here. The hockey that's being played right now is absolutely fabulous, and I have a lot of teammates around me to take care of me, so we kind of go in cycles, catching some sleep and doing whatever needs to be done in terms of media requests and whatever else, but it's been an absolutely wonderful trip since we won the gold.
How about the response of the fans, the response of the media, the response of your friends to your accomplishments?
It's been absolutely incredible. We knew coming into this there would be a lot of adversity, a lot of naysayers, people saying, well, you haven't won in 8 games now. What makes you think that you can win now? But everybody seems to have come around pretty much, and everybody's been responding to us quite well, and all I can say is my friends, my family are absolutely as ecstatic as are all of we, obviously.
I just picked up your gold medal, and it's heavy. I mean, it's really heavy, so obviously well worth the struggle of getting it around your neck. You may not ever take it off.
Well, that's the first thing everybody says as soon as they touch it. Wow, it's so heavy. And I have to say that's what every single one of us said at center ice once it was put around our neck.
Sam Rosen, Eddie Olczyk, Joe Beninati back at East Center in Salt Lake City getting set for the third period of the gold medal game. They have changed the scoring on the second U.S. goal. It has been now credited to Brian Rafalski, originally credited to John Leclerc. Rafalski from Madonna and Hull at 15:30. So for Brett Hull, who picks up another assist, it's been a great tournament with 3 goals and 5 assists. 8 points in the tournament for Brett Hull. Keith Tkachuk did not play at all in the second period. Still bothered by a Charlie horse. He played the entire first period. We'll see what happens here in the third. It's Madonna, Leclerc, Hull, Chelios, and Suter for the U.S. Lindros, Smith, Nolan, McInnes, and Pronger for Canada. Martin Brodeur in goal to our left. Mike Richter in goal to our right.
20 minutes for the gold.
Here it is. Suter to Chelios off the face-off U.S. control. Suter back to Chelios. Up the middle to the red line. Right side of Chelios. Drives it around the boards. Chelios saying between periods that U.S. has to have smart dump-ins and pressure on the Canadian defense. Leclerc in the left circle. Winds it behind the Canadian net. Picked up by Pronger. Pronger slides it out of the zone. Comes all the way back, and Suter goes to get it.
That last first start of this period, Sam, it looked like the Canadians were just staying back, almost 4 guys back if they have no pressure offensively.
Deep into the Canadian zone. Scott Young had it knocked away by Niedermeyer. Picked up Lemieux out to center on the left side. Knocked away. Leclerc sends it back to Leach in the U.S. zone. Right side of Aaron Miller. Miller to center, up the middle. At the red line, met by 2 Canadian players, Yzerman and Correa. They knock it away. Miller recovers, plays back to Leach in the U.S. zone. Up the right side of the red line to Roenick. Roenick plays to the Canadian line. Niedermeyer stops it, plays it out to center. Picked up by Mike York. Falls down, gets up, sends in from the red line. Off the end glass, bounces in front, cleared aside by Adam Foote. Out to Leach, long shot saved by Brodeur. Rebound, played by Simon Gagne, but he lifts it into the Canadian bench and play stops. 1:11 gone by. Third period. The gold medal game, and Canada trying to win a gold medal for the first time in 50 years, leading 3-2.
Well, just going back to that first shift of the third period here, we're talking about no pressure. That's when the U.S. defensemen have complete control. And the way that Canada's played all along is when the U.S. defensemen have the puck down low, they've been very, very aggressive. So don't give them, meaning the Canadians, the U.S., any odd man situation.
Canada comes to center across the U.S. line. Long shot by Jovanovski. Puck comes in front, kicked away by Richter. Rebound, the backhander goes wide by Iginla. Chipped in by Gagne. Stopped by Rafalski behind the U.S. net. Moves away from Sakic. Pressured by Iginla. Moves it up the boards and out. Recovered by Jovanovski in the Canadian zone. Left side. Up the middle. to Neuendijk. Right side of Blake. He carries to the U.S. line. Winds up. Big drive. Leg save made by Richter. Rebound all the way out to center. Given away to Guerin. U.S. changing. Guerin pulls back into his zone. Played it up ahead. It went off the linesman's skate. Back in the zone and offside is whistled on Canada. Minute 53 gone by in the third period. Canada out, shooting the U.S. 30-25, leading 3-2.
Well, somebody for Team USA has to step up, make a big play, make a big hit, get the crowd into it, get some confidence going right now, because really for the Canadians, for the most part, have really not let the U.S. guys skate in through the neutral zone and use their speed, which where they really had all the success in the Olympic Games.
The puck rolls back, side of the net. Richter stops it for Chelios. Chelios comes out from behind the net up the middle. Left side to Suter. Backhands ahead, tipped in by Amante. Deep into the Canadian zone. Pronger gets there, drives it around the boards, off the stick of Chelios, out to center. Shanahan trying to take it away. Ralston recovers for the U.S. Left side in the U.S. zone is Suter. Skates to the red line. Angles to the middle across the Canadian line and shoots. Glove save, Brodeur. Drops it in front of him. Covers up as Drury is pressuring on the play. And a face-off in the Canadian zone. 2:24 gone by. Third period. Canada leading 3-2.
Again, 4 guys lined up for Team Canada across the blue line and no pressure in the neutral zone. They let the Americans go D to D. Suter realized that. He jumped into place. So what you have to do when you have the team lining up 4 guys as Canada does is you have to get it in and you have to anticipate. Everybody's got to know you're going to dump the puck in when there's 4 people across.
Madonna and Yzerman standoff in the circle. Puck top of the circle, chipped out of the zone, recovered by Aaron Miller. Skates to the red line, feeds left side of Brian Leach, drives it down the boards. Winds around, stopped by Brodeur behind the net. Fires it up the left side of Yzerman. Up ahead of Lemieux up the middle in the U.S. zone. He overskates the puck as he was tied up by Aaron Miller. Puck recovered by Brett Hull and knocked away by Correa to Yzerman at the red line. Left wing feed to Lemieux down the left side boards in the circle. Drops it off. Taken deep by Niedermeyer. Centers in front. Knocked away by Leclerc. Comes to Niedermeyer. Left circle. Niedermeyer back to Correa for a quick shot. Blocked in front. Rebound knocked away from Lemieux and picked up by Leclerc. Skates behind the U.S. net. Leclerc up the middle to center. Up ahead. Pass knocked away by Nolan. Carries across the line. He's offside. 3:09 gone by. Third period, 3-2, Canada leading.
Watching Mario Lemieux very closely on that last shift as the puck was right in front off the rebound attempt by Paul Correa. Richter kicked it out. The puck kind of got in behind Mario Lemieux, and as he was skating off the ice, he was flexing his right leg gingerly as he went to the bench. And believe me, talking to Mario Lemieux yesterday, he's a banged-up hockey player right now, just trying to grit it out for another 16-plus minutes.
He's been very physical in this tournament. U.S. takes over in its own zone. Pody up the middle, right side of Mike York. Slowed down, taken down by Ryan Smith. Smith able to clear it out to center. Deflects back in. Chip to the near side where Nolan plays it back in front of his net to Rob Blake. Blake carries to center. Angles left at the red line. Dumps into the U.S. zone. Knocked down by Rafalski. Can't clear. Pody does get it out to center. Roenick backhands it deep into the Canadian zone. Eric Brewer goes forward against Mike York. They wrap each other up along the end boards. It's knocked loose by Roenick. Carries into the corner. Roenick's got it. Side of the right circle. Back pass to the point. Chelios winds and fires. Knocked down in front. Loose puck. Played by Blake. Blake slides it up ahead to Nolan. Nolan to the red line. Holds up. Both teams change. Nolan skates back. Plays back to Pronger. Pronger in his own zone. Plays it ahead to Sakic. Left wing feed to Iginla. Across the U.S. line. Met by Guerin. Goes in deep. Slides it in front for Gagne. Deflected on goal. A save. Comes back to Iginla for a shot. Saved by Richter. Rebound goes into the corner. Guerin gets there. Plays it to Pody behind the net. Right side of Chelios. Turns. Plays it left wing off the boards. Deadmarsh goes back to get it for the U.S. Deadmarsh fires ahead for Guerin. It's knocked away by Pronger. Picked up by Deadmarsh. Skates it in. He's tied up by McInnes. Pronger takes the puck, winds it around behind the net for Shanahan. He reverses, fires up the near side, and Canada comes to center. Carried by Fleury into the U.S. zone down the right wing. Fleury to the goal line, fires sharp angle off the chest of Richter. Rebound, Waite plays it up ahead. It's stopped by Shanahan. His pass deflects out the center. Picked up by Doug Waite for the U.S. Across the Canada line. Left circle, knocked away. Good play by Niedermeyer. Put back in by Suter, offside U.S. 4:59 gone by. Third period. Canada seems to be in control. U.S. not getting many offensive chances. Canada leading 3-2.
Well, right before that last opportunity by Jerome Iginla, Owen Nolan made a great play, Sam. He had the puck in the neutral zone. his teammates were changing. Team USA was in the middle of a change. He waited. He didn't dump the puck in. He waited for 4 fresh guys to come out. All of a sudden, Sakic got it to Aguila, and they created a scoring opportunity. So heads-up play of the captain of the San Jose Sharks, Owen Nolan.
U.S. fires it in, and a shot by Amonte from the right sideboard, stopped by Brodeur. Cleared out to center, recovered by Rafalski in front of the Canada bench. Feed back to Lemieux, right side of Yzerman, across the line, right circle. He shoots, gloved side of the net by Richter. He holds on. 14:37 to go. And now the countdown, with the U.S. trailing Canada 3-2 with a gold medal on the line.
I'd be surprised if Herb Brooks did not try to make some sort of a line adjustment. Maybe take somebody off the line, put him with somebody who he feels that is maybe going well, is with somebody that's on the verge of coming close. I think for Team Canada, Owen Nolan's had an outstanding game. And for Team USA, Mike Modano's been in all those positions to put the puck into nets.
USA chant, Canada in Salt Lake City. U.S. clears to center, comes back to the line. Miller goes left side of Leach in center. Pulls back, plays right side of Miller. Angles to the middle at the red line. Left wing feed, across the line. Comes LeClaire. It's played ahead and deflects to the far side and out to center. Recovered by Modano. Skates left along the red line, feeds Leach across the Canadian line. Leach's pass deflected. Leach works it in deep to Hull. Feeds LeClaire, left circle, shot blocked. Sakic tries to clear, kept in by Leach. He winds, plays right side of Miller. He fakes the shot. A wrister deflected in. Hull's shot is blocked. Hull gets knocked down by Sakic. The puck cleared to the line, kept in by Miller. In the corner, LeClaire ties up Jovanovski. Sakic takes the puck for Canada. Pressured by Modano. Winds it to the near side. Hull goes in after it. Modano comes to get it along the near sideboards. Blake able to clear it out of the zone. Recovered by Leach at the red line. Leach plays it left side of Hull. Hull circles in center, winds up, big drive wide of the net. Bounces off the back of the net. Jovanovski goes to get it. 13:30 to go, third period. Canada 3, U.S. 2. Jovanovski pressured by York. Ties him up. York trying to get loose to center, plays inside of the net. It's behind the net. Blake battling with York. Clears it up the boards and out to center. Suter's got it. Right side to Chelios. Back skates into his own zone. Feeds left side to Suter. Up ahead, gave it up the line to Pronger, to Lindros. Right side to Nolan in the circle. He shoots, and it goes through. Richter got bowled over by Ryan Smith, charging into the net. And let's see, Chelios talking with the referee. The net got knocked off. Bill McCreary had his arm up. And we'll see what the call is here. Chelios and Bill McCreary have a lengthy discussion as Ryan Smith went into the crease, bumped Mike Richter. Chelios was there.
He also hit his head on the crossbar as well. Chelios was going, and I looked right away at the referee Bill McCreary, and I thought he put his hand up.
Yeah, I did too, but no penalty called. Maybe just put his hand up to stop play. The face-off is outside, so it's Ryan Smith who caused the stoppage by knocking the net off.
Little help with Chelios there.
Yeah, sure. 13 minutes to go, third period. Face-off just outside the U.S. zone. Waite and Nieuwendyk loose in center, taken by Canada. Nieuwendyk gets there, backhands it in deep. Off the corner boards, played by Rafalski. Skates up the left side, checked by Fleury. Puck still in the U.S. zone. Shanahan races for it, tied up by Housley. Guerin gets there. His pass up the near side. Deadmarsh trying to clear. It's kept in. Long shot from the blue line was outside the zone, and it's whistled down for an offside. Well, now is a good time to remind you to consider joining the United States Air Force. When you cross into the blue, everything is different and important, especially you.
Well, 12:41 left to go here in the third period. For all the marbles, the gold medal in men's ice hockey. Canada leading the U.S. 3-2.
U.S. led 1-0. Canada grabbed a 2-1 lead. U.S. tied at 2-2. Canada taking the lead 3-2 late in the second. Puck into the Canadian zone. LeClaire against McInnes. Pronger backhands it up the near boards. U.S. able to keep it in. Comes to Modano in the slot. He turns, plays it back to Miller. Wrist shot from the point blocked. Comes to the near side. Lemieux takes over. Skates to center. Lemieux to the red line, pressured by Hull. Slides it ahead. And an offside is whistled. Yzerman Played it to Correa. Correa ahead of the play.
Well, Correa was trying to jump into the play, and I believe it was Mike Madonna's stick that was caught in actually the opening between the skate boot and the blade of Paul Correa. Every time he tried to take a stride, the stick got caught right in the skate. There's really no way for him to accelerate and take off, and eventually it came out. A good play by Lemieux along the boards defensively to work the puck outside the zone.
U.S. controls off the faceoff. Suter up the left side, carries to the red line, lifts to the Canadian zone. Back to get it, Scott Niedermeyer off the corner boards, taken away by Drury. Tried to center, was deflected across, comes to Ralston, right corner. Drops it off in the corner, picked up by Amante. He has one of the 2 U.S. goals. Loose in front, and it's cleared out by Canada. All the way down it goes. It'll be an icing on the Canadians with 11:49 to go in the third period, and Canada leading 3-2.
Well, going back to probably before the semifinal game against the Russians, in which the U.S. beat them 3-2 to get to this gold medal game against Canada, the second game for Team USA was against the Russians. This was the time they came back. They started playing well, and eventually Brett Hull scored the goal with under 5 minutes left to go to tie it up at 2.
Off the face-off, won by Pekka from Roenick. Played into the corner in the Canadian zone in the right circle. Chipped loose by Roenick to Young. Centers, intercepted by Nolan. Backhands out of the zone. Slides all the way back. Stopped by Richter, side of the net. Winds it into the near corner. Rafalski under pressure for Brian Smith. Tries to work it ahead. And it's cleared out of the zone to center. Down the left side, Roenick. Roenick centers, knocked away from Young. Loose puck in center, chip back to the red line. Still loose, picked up by Roenick, right side. Roenick into the Canada zone, try to cut for the middle. Roenick take it out of the play, and Nolan slides it out to Ryan Smith, left side of the red line. Into the middle, across the line, Niedermeyer. Cuts to the right circle, holds and shoots, and just wide. Goes to the left side. Blake is in deep. He bumps there with Aaron Miller. Blake winds it behind the net. Leach picks it up the left side for Denmark. Out to center, goes back deep in the Canadian zone. Eric Brewer back for it. Swings it around the boards for Shanahan. Backhands it out to center. Leach back to get it in the U.S. zone. Pressured by Newendijk. Up the left side out to center at the red line. Wait looking for it for the U.S. Played to Leach, cross the line. His pass blocked by Fleury. Leach takes it in deep. Leach around the net, set up in front, shot blocked. Guerin sliding across his Fleury to block it, and it goes all the way back into the U.S. zone.
And how about the play by Joe and Newendijk after the beautiful play by Theo Fleury? He saw the puck was there. He just had to reach end of a shift. He just tipped it out in the neutral zone.
10:25 to go, third period, 3-2 Canada. Guerin, left side of the red line, right side of Madonna. Breaks in and shoots, and it's blocked by Pronger into the crowded goals. A lot of blocked shots for Team Canada. U.S. with 27 shots on goal. Canada with 32. And a reminder, stay with NHL Radio and Westwood One on many of these same stations throughout the NHL season as we bring you NHL action right through the crowning of a new Stanley Cup champion. March 4th, it'll be a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup finalists with New Jersey at Colorado. We'll be on the air at 7:45 Eastern Time. In the Canadian zone, carried deep, Leclerc against Pronger. Double teamed, Eiserman knocks it away. Up the boards, chipped clear by Correa. Back into the U.S. zone, Gary Suter goes to get it. Skates behind his net to the left side. Midway point, third period, 10 minutes remaining, 3-2 Canada. Chelios pass, blocked to the line, picked up by Mandano, down the slot, goes to the right circle, backhander goes wide. Rebound up the boards to Suter, left side. Suter winds it in deep for Hull. Pronger takes it away from him, moves it to Correa, up the left side of center. Right side feed to Lemieux, dumps it into the U.S. zone. Back to get it, behind the U.S. net, Gary Suter. Suter skates up the middle. Suter, right side feed to Drury, cuts to the middle, across the Canadian line. His pass blocked by Iginla, works it up ahead, but it's cleared out by Adam Foote. Out to center, recovered by Tony Amonte to Housley. Right side of Rafalski, left side of Drury. Drury skates to the middle on the red line. Left side of Housley, breaks in, winds up and shoots. Save Brodeur. Rebound, carries behind the net. Still loose behind the net. Play to the far corner. Adam Foote gets there on the backhand. Lifts it out of the zone. Drury comes back to get it.
I like the idea there, Housley jumping in. How do you create offense? Get your defenseman involved. Don't lead the rush, but come late. And that's exactly what Housley did on that last play.
Just under 9 minutes to go in the third period. 3-2 Canada deep in the Canadian zone. Roenick ridden hard into the boards by Jovanovski. Puck played up the boards to Ryan Smith. Skates to center. Into the middle. Intercepted by Leach. Leach waits for his teammates to get onside. Feeds Roenick. Roenick toward the net. Tipped. Saved by Brodeur. Tipped by Mike York driving to the net. Best chance for the U.S. in this third period. Icing is waved off. Aaron Miller drops it behind the net for Leach. Leach pressured by Owen Nolan. Gets it to Miller, clears to center. Intercepted by McInnes, puts it back in the U.S. zone. Icing is whistled with 8:27 to go in the third period. Canada 3, U.S. 2.
Well, Brian Leach made the play after that close call for Michael York, his teammate in New York. Jeremy Roenick made a great play, but Leach stood up. He took a chance. It would have been a 2-on-1 the other way, but Brian Leach of the New York Rangers stood up. He made a no-look backhand pass to Roenick, and York going to the net, and Brodeur had to make an unbelievable save going from his left to his right.
Yzerman wins the draw from Modano in the Canadian zone. McInnes skates up the right side toward the blue line, waits and lifts it to the U.S. line. Knocked down by Suter, holds in his own zone, pressured by Lemieux, goes cross ice in center to Leclerc. Leclerc dropped it off for Modano, but gave it away instead. Pronger up ahead of Lemieux. Centers for Yzerman, goes all the way through. Suter goes into the corner, bumped by Yzerman. Leclerc comes over to move it up the boards, and out to center it goes. Picked up by Modano, races down the right side into the Canadian zone, pulls up, centers for Hull, a shot, save with the net knocked off. The net was being knocked off as Leclerc and McInnes slid into the net with that big drive by Brett Hull from just inside the blue line. I don't know if that would have counted had it gone in.
Well, you know what happens, Sam, is sometimes when you're going to the net, you're just watching where the puck is. You're not necessarily knowing where you're going. You have instincts, as John Leclerc does, is going right to the front of the net. You're not worried where the puck is or where the goaltender or the net is. You're trying to focus on where the puck is going to go. Is it going to go behind the net or is it going to go at the net? And what happened was McInnes just kind of boxed them out. They both went crashing into the net. The net ended up coming off its moorings.
Yeah, and they've got to put the pegs back in, so we're getting a little maintenance help here in the crease. U.S. scored first in the game, 8:49 of the first. Tony Amonte giving them a 1-0 lead, and Paul Correa and Jerome McGinley scored for Canada. It was 2-1, end of one. Power play goal by Brian Rafalski that went in off the defenseman's stick. Tied it at 2-2 at 15:30 of the second, and then Joe Sakic's power play goal for Canada gave the Canadians a 3-2 lead at 18:19 of the second period, and that's where we stand as they still work on the net. Right now, 7:55 to go, third period. Canada 3-2 lead.
Still a lot of time for Team USA. All it takes is one shot to get back in this game.
Waits face off, comes back to the line. Chipped ahead by Housley, cleared out by Sakic to center. Wade recovers for the U.S. Right side of the red line, Rafalski sends it in, deflected by Niedermeyer, on goal, covered by Brodeur. 7:41 remaining in the third period.
And as far as for Team Canada, just continue to do what they're doing. Play sound defensively. Take away the middle of the ice, knowing that Team USA eventually has to come through the middle. And if the shots come from real wide, Sam, is make sure that you're boxing out. Don't let any rebounds get out to any guys in blue jerseys.
Waite and Sakic for the face-off.
Looks like Waite's going to get tossed here.
He is. Bill Guerin moves in to the left of Brodeur. Sakic bends way down. Face-off. Loose. Chip back behind the goal line. Loose behind the net. Digging forward is Waite. And Niedermeyer comes to the side of the net. Waite plays it to the near boards. Guerin comes over. Waite in the corner. Puck moved up by Canada. They bring it out to center. Iginla bumped by Rafalski. Slows him down. Puck played into the U.S. zone. Rafalski back to get it. Rafalski turns, fires out to center, left side of Housley. Housley into the middle to Drury. Backhander goes wide. Rebound side of the net. Jovanovski moves to Pekka. Pekka into the middle to Nieuwendyk. Across the U.S. line. He's tied up by Amonte. The puck loose, picked up, centered, and picked up by Amonte. Breaks to center. Down the left wing, into the Canadian zone. Left circle, he shoots, and it's blocked by McKinnon, by Blake. Rebound on the near side. Picked up by Pekka, clears to center to Nieuwendyk. Down the right wing into the U.S. zone. Meets Poti, shoots, stick save by Richter. Back behind the net. Pekka gets there. He's by himself. Canada changing. Loose puck side of the net. Ralston plays it up the boards for Amonte. Able to play it out to center to Drury, left side of the red line. Chipped away from him into the U.S. zone. Picked up by Tom Poti. Right side to Suter. Suter holding, plays behind the net. 6.5 minutes to go, third period, 3-2 Canada. Out to center off the leg of Leclerc, back into the U.S. zone, offside, whistled on the play. 6:26 remaining, third period, and the U.S. trailing Canada 3-2 for the gold medal game.
Well, Michael Pekka hasn't seen too much ice time, but he's out here in a key situation. He's playing right wing, a natural centerman with the New York Islanders, doing an outstanding job on that last shift with Joe Nieuwendyk, and expect him to be out there in a lot of key situations defensively down the stretch.
Madonna on the faceoff. Chelios back pass to Suter, skates to center, was hip checked by Yzerman, and a penalty called. Suter tried to move around Yzerman. Yzerman looked like he hip checked him. Bill McCreary calls a trip. Yzerman argues but goes to the penalty box. Power play, Team USA. They're 1 for 3 on the power play in the game.
Well, right in the middle of the ice, and Gary Suter got coming up the middle. He went to the left, he faked to the right, and Yzerman kind of just almost leg whipped him more than anything else. It ended up getting upended Gary Suter of the San Jose Sharks, and Steve Yzerman is not a happy camper right now, so huge opportunity for Team USA on the power play.
Luce comes back into the U.S. zone. Rafalski and Poti play the points. Amonte, Roenick, and Young up front for the power play. Canada with McInnes and Pronger, Gagne, and Pekka into the Canadian zone. Deep, Amonte against Pronger. Pronger moves it to the near side. McInnes lets Gagne carry it out to center. Slides it deep into the U.S. zone. Winds behind the net. 5:50 to go, third period. 3-2 Canada. Poti carries to center. Across the red line. Into the Canadian zone. Offside USA. 5:45 to go in the third, 1:28 to go in the U.S. power play.
Well, the thought process on a power play, Sam, should be you have to outman the other team. So what I mean is Canada only has 4 players. So the U.S., if the Canadians have the puck in the corner, there's one guy there. There should be 2 USA guys. If there's 2 Canadians, there should be 3 USA guys. Right now, it's just one-on-one battles, and Canada's outplaying them.
Sakic wins the face-off back in the Canadian zone. Foot waits, winds up and drives it all the way down. Lively carom off the end boards, picked up by Housley from Richter up the middle of center. Housley, right side of Hull, off his stick, cleared away by Iginla. All the way down it goes. Housley and Leach. Madonna, Leclerc, and Hull for the power play. Nolan comes on with Correa, Foot, and Blake. Leach carries into the Canadian zone. Right side feed given away to Nolan. He clears all the way down. Garham's off the corner boards. Richter stops it for Housley. Circles the net. Heads up the middle. 50 seconds to go on the power play. Left side of Leach. Across the Canadian line. Down the left wing boards. Winds it behind the net. Pass Brodeur. Right corner. Madonna. Back pass to Housley. Right point. Left point to Leach. Taps it ahead of Hull's left circle. He holds along the boards. He looks. Centers to Madonna. Back pass to Leach. Right side, Housley in the circle. Cross ice, Hull, he shoots. Save. Great save, Brodeur. Rebound blocked by McInnes. Chip to the near boards. Hull gets there. Plays it to Leclerc. He's hit by McInnes. Plays behind the net. To the far corner. Madonna chases down. Right point to Housley. Ahead to Madonna to half boards. Left side of Leach. Touch the Hull back to Leach. He shoots. Save. Big rebound. Batted out by Pekka all the way down. 4.5 minutes to go. Third period. 8 seconds to go. U.S. power play. Canada leads 3-2. Guerin's pass. Tip. Comes to Rafalski in center. Forced back to the red line. Feeds to Guerin. Right side to Wade. Wade in the circle. Power play over. Long shot. Save Brodeur. Rebound in the corner. Picked up by Iginla. Iginla up the middle of Blake. Blake sends out to Sakic in center. Breaks right to the U.S. line. Drops it off to Yzerman. Yzerman left side the shot. Saved by Richter. It goes in. They score. Jerome Iginla gives Canada a 4-2 lead with 3:59 to go.
Oh, what a play by Steve Yzerman, who just came out of the penalty box. Sakic to Yzerman. Mike Richter got a piece of it. Joe Sakic was in front of the net. He actually tried to knock it out of the air, but Iginla's puck just gets right in behind. And Team Canada with a 4-2 lead. But how about that play by Yzerman? He came out of the box. He stayed on the right wing boards. He waited. He bought time. And Iginla, who made the play in his own zone to rob Blake to start out the odd man situation for Team Canada. Iginla defensively again, Sam. Great defense leads to offensive opportunities. And I thought Jerome Iginla was outstanding in a semifinal game against Team Belarus. They lead the U.S. 4-2.
3:59 to go. Face-off win by Lemieux to the Canadian zone. First 2-goal lead of the game. Canada sends it in. Richter stops it behind the net for Chelios. Chelios out from behind the net up the middle. 4-2 Canada. 3:45 to go. Suter dumps it in. Cross corner. Pronger gets there. Pronger lifts it. Chelios knocks it down. Checked by Lemieux. Cleared out to center. Recovered by Suter. Cross ice, left side to Guerin in center. Right side beat for Chelios, hops by his stick. Pronger gets back to get it, plays it up the boards out to center. Hull pushes it back into the U.S. zone. Suter goes to get it. Pressured by Sakic. Sakic skates behind his own net. 3:20 to go. Sakic to center. Suter to center. Plays it on goal. It's stopped by Brodeur. Trying to play it ahead, knocked down, but recovered by Sakic. Chipped away by Modano. Modano plays it behind the goal line. It's picked up by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer skates to the right side. Backhands to Sakic. Clears to Iginla right side. Into the U.S. zone. Winds up and drives it. Saved by Richter. Bounces behind him. And it is covered up right at the goal line. Combination of Richter and Rafalski. Richter sat on the puck about 3 inches from the goal line. Another big shot by Jerome Iginla, who's having a huge game here for the gold medal.
Well, if anybody saw the goal that Belarus scored on Tommy Salo, Kopot just shot the puck. It actually hit Richter in the shoulder and got in behind him. And as he was backing up, nobody knew where it was. I think it went off of Phil Housley, just laid off to the side, and Iginla was right there, tried a little curl and drag to the left of Richter.
Off the faceoff, U.S. clears to center. Amonte down the right wing, cross the line. Centers for Leach down the slot. Pass in deep, goes by Pody. Both defensemen in deep, but couldn't get a shot off. Cleared out to center. Leach holds. U.S. has to get onside. Back pass to Amonte in the U.S. zone. With 2:35 remaining in the third. 4-2 Canada. Puck sent in. Icing is whistled on the U.S. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is exclusive coverage of Olympic hockey on Westwood One, America's leader in play-by-play radio sports.
Spanning 2 centuries of Chicago sports radio, this is the 50,000-watt voice of the fan, WSCR-Chicago. The Score, Sports Radio 670, an Infinity Broadcasting Station.
1 to go, third period, 2-goal lead for Canada.
Oh, what a chance there for Brian Leach. Pody, the defenseman, jumping in, as you called, Sam, a 2-on-1. I think Blake just got a piece of the pass from Leach to Pody down low.
U.S. to center. Suter up the left wing to Guerin. Guerin plays it ahead for Ralston. Ralston tied up along the boards by 2 Canadian players. Yzerman is there. McInnes is there, deep in the corner. Winds behind the Canadian net. Played by Pronger. Pressured by Ralston. Up the boards. Chelios try to keep it in. It comes out to center. Yzerman try to get there. Ralston plays back to Suter. Suter up the middle. Chelios plays it left wing for Ralston. Carries into the Canadian zone. Pronger winds up, drives it around the boards. Past Gagne all the way down. And it's icing on Canada with 1:54 to go in the third period. Canada with a goal at 16:01. Iginla from Yzerman and Sakic opening up a 2-goal lead.
Well, thinking about Team Canada and how important defensive zone faceoffs are, expect Steve Yzerman to take the majority of them inside the zone along with Joe Sakic. Outstanding centerman in faceoffs. Big faceoff here to the right of Brodeur.
Modano and Yzerman played into the corner. Adam Foote deep in the Canadian zone. Under pressure from Modano. They tie each other up. Yzerman gets to the puck, moves it up the boards. Cleared out by Sakic. All the way down it goes. Rafalski pressured by Gagne. Spins Rafalski down. LeClaire picks it up. Chance of Canada. Canada go up from the crowd. 1:35 to go. Rafalski fires up the middle of center off the stick of Housley. Housley picks it up again, crosses the line. Try to center, is knocked away by Iginla. Out to center come the Canadians. Rafalski fell down. Sakic breaks for the net. All alone. He scores! The Maple Leaf is waving proudly. Team Canada has a 5-2 lead with 1:20 to go. Joe Sakic on a breakaway beats Mike Richter, and Canada's about to put this one away.
Well, Brian Rafalski in the neutral zone, Sam, he tried to come over. He fell down not once but twice. It looked like he just blew an edge on his left skate. Phil Housley jumped in, tried to make a backhand pass to Brett Hull, and it was almost a 3-on-0 for Team Canada. And John LeClaire did a great job to try to upend the goal scorer, Joe Sakic. But what a shot by Sakic. Stick side to Richter. Team Canada with a 5-2 lead.
U.S. in its own zone. Leach carries up the middle of center with 1 minute to go in the gold medal game. Guerin across the line to Wait. Taken away, lifted clear by Rob Blake. Team Canada looking to end 50 years of frustration, looking for their first gold medal in men's hockey since 1952. They are 47 seconds away.
How about Joe Sakic?
Great.
2 goals, 2 assists, gold medal game.
Doesn't get any better. What a great, great player. Jerome McGinley with 2 goals in the game. Joe Sakic with 2 goals in the game. He scored the big goal, I think, at 2-2 late in the second period. Power play goal to break the tie with 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining in the second period. Puck deep in the U.S. zone. Yzerman centers all the way through to Lemieux. Lemieux in the right corner. Holding. Slides it behind the net. Chelios intercepts. Chelios waits. Fires out to Ralston in center. Into the middle to Drury. Drury across the Canadian line. Centers taken away by Yzerman. 25 seconds to go. Yzerman to Correa at the red line. Across the line, Lemieux down the middle with a shot. Blocked by Chelios with 18 seconds to go. In deep is Iginla. Works it loose with 13 seconds to go. 10 seconds to go. Amonte's got the puck. 5 seconds to go. Amonte to center, right side of York. Cross the line, long shot, misses, and the game is over. Canada reigns supreme. They are number 1 in the world in hockey. They have won the gold medal by defeating the United States 5-2. Hugs all around. Team Canada mobbing Martin Brodeur, side of the net, hugging one another. Up in the stands, Wayne Gretzky, the number 1 man in hockey.
Kevin Lowe, Steve Tambolini, all of Team Canada.
They are hugging one another. What a proud moment for Canada. And simply said, no embarrassment, no disgrace for Team USA. They were wonderful. Led by Herb Brooks, they get their best finish since 1980. They get a silver medal. But Canada, the women win the gold, the men win the gold. Canada reigns supreme. Congratulations to head coach Pat Quinn, Jacques Martin, Ken Hitchcock, and Wayne Fleming, his assistants. They did a great job. And in the dream game, Canada comes up big. And now the traditional handshake, Canada led by Mario Lemieux, and these good friends who know each other so well, who play each other every night, now shake hands. A terrific game for the gold medal. As the fans in the crowd here stand and cheer the players, the handshake continues. We will have the medal ceremony for you. But what an effort. Team Canada started off slowly in this tournament. They lost to Sweden in the first round, 5-2. They played an uninspired 3-2 game as they beat Germany. They tied Czech Republic 3-3. But as they came into the medal round,
that's where they
really started to go.
That Finland game in the quarterfinals, they beat them 2-1. Martin Brodeur was outstanding. The big play by Lemieux to Steve Yzerman. I thought they had a wonderful Olympics. But you're right. Right off the bat, Team Canada got off a little bit slow. They slowly built themselves up those stairs. The first step, not very good against Sweden, but slowly but surely they continue to get better and better. And do you remember Wayne Gretzky had with the big outburst? Took some of the attention away from his team. And Wayne Gretzky, a lot of pressure, believe me, talking to Mario Lemieux and a few of the plays yesterday for Team Canada, a lot of pressure was on this team, and they came through with flying colors.
And the handshakes and hugs continue. A lot of teammates, as we said, there are 9 NHL teams who have players on either side. Canadian flags out on the ice. Mario Lemieux holding one over his head, skating around proudly with a Canadian flag. What a great moment for Team Canada. They won silver medals in 92 and 94, losing in gold medal games. But today, they were not to be denied. Great efforts by Joe Sakic, a 4-point game. One of the great players in NHL history. Joe Sakic, who led his team to the Stanley Cup championship last year with the Colorado Avalanche, coming up huge in the gold medal game. Jerome McGinley, a rising star in the NHL, the leading scorer in the league, came up with 2 goals. Just terrific.
You have your role players when you come into a situation like that, because you have all of the superstars here. Obviously, Sakic, an outstanding player, one of the top 2-way players in the National Hockey League. But Iginla, it was his time to shine. Outstanding season in the National Hockey League. And you know what? He did it in the gold medal game.
In center ice, the USA's team raising the sticks to the crowd proudly. And they should be proud. They put on an excellent performance in this Olympics. And they are beaten by an outstanding Canadian team, but a terrific effort by Team USA. Certainly dejected, but they have nothing to be ashamed of. They were terrific in this tournament, and boy, did they come through with a huge win over Russia in the semifinals. We'll continue with our post-game wrap-up. We'll have the medal ceremony coming up. First, we take a short time out. Once again, the final score in the gold medal game, Canada 5, the U.S. 2. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics on Westwood 1.
May I help you?
Yes, I'm here to see Mr. Jenkins.
And you are?
Mr. Colson.
Have a seat, Mr. Coldsore.
Colson.
Mr. Jenkins, there's a Mr. Coldsore.
Colson.
Colson to see you.
Come right in, Mr. Coldsore.
Colson.
If cold sores are getting more attention than you are, try Pure Lip with zinc. Pure Lip Remedy promotes healing during any stage of an outbreak. Pure Lip Prevention cares for lips prone to cold sores anytime.
So, tell me a little about your sore, myself.
Find Pure Lip at CVS, Walgreens, Eckerd, Rite Aid, Osco Drugs, Save-On, Longs, or at purelip.com. Pure Lip, the cold sore solution.
They are the alarm clocks.
Wake up, Kara.
The cheering sections.
All right, David!
They're the parents who nourish an athlete's dream to win. And because they know what's inside makes all the difference, they give you Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup. Its golden goodness warms kids up and keeps them going. So when dreams come true...
Yeah, you did it!
Remember those moms and dads who helped make it possible. Campbell's, official soup supplier of the 2002 Olympic Winter Games.
Right now, in the skies above America, 2 XM radio satellites are broadcasting 100 digital channels of music, news, sports, and talk to wherever you are, coast to coast.
I think it's wonderful. The quality of the audio is incredible.
XM Satellite Radio, 71 channels of music, 12 channels of news, 5 channels of sports, all for less than $10 a month. No wonder Peter Lewis of Fortune magazine called it Product of the Year.
There's so many of them that are good. The 70s, the 80s, VH1 radio. You've got enough channels to pick from that you can always find something you like playing.
It's easy to add XM to any existing car stereo, with XM radio starting as low as $300. Visit your local electronics store for a demonstration. Learn more at xmradio.com.
They have a wide variety of things I've never heard before.
This is the best $10 a month you could spend.
XM, radio to the power of X. XM subscription and hardware sold separately. Hardware price may vary by model and retailer. Some models require additional installation fee. Activation fee also required.
Sam Rosen, Eddie Olczyk, Joe Beninati back at East Center in Salt Lake City. We're getting ready for the medal ceremony here. Moments ago, just a lot of emotion coming out for Team Canada. Wayne Gretzky, the executive director, coming down onto the bench, hugging the players one by one, and a big, huge hug for the captain, Mario Lemieux. That was, I tell you, that was an emotional moment.
Well, two of the greatest players that I've ever played against. I had the great fortune of playing with Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh, and to know the pressure that was on Lemieux and Team Canada and Wayne Gretzky really put this team together. Remember, we haven't talked a lot about it, but no Patrick Roy. Everybody thought that Patrick Roy would be the #1 goaltender. He did not play. He was not anointed the #1 goaltender, and Martin Brodeur, who did not play the first game against Sweden, stepped up and just an absolute wonderful job for Team Canada.
What a moment for the Brodeur family. Martin Brodeur's father played for Team Canada in the Olympics, a goaltender for them, won a bronze medal in 1956, and today his son wins the gold medal with great performance. He gave up only 4 goals in the medal round. Brilliant goaltending for Martin Brodeur.
Will be presented by Mr. James L. Easton.
And now the United States coming away from their bench. They've been leaning along the boards to the cheers of the crowd here at East Center. They're lining up to our left. There's the carpet rolled out, and the players coming over to receive their silver medals, the best U.S. finish since 1980 when the United States won the gold medal. Today they lose in the gold medal game and will receive the silver medal.
So just continuing to finish finishing the thought of Martin Brodeur, talking to Tony Amani, he really feels that Martin Brodeur is the best goaltender in the National Hockey League, and boy, oh boy, did he play like it here in Salt Lake City.
First Olympic hockey loss for the United States on U.S. soil since 1932. They had won the gold here in the United States at Squaw Valley in 1960, again in Lake Placid in 1980, and today in the final game in Salt Lake City, they come up just a little bit short in a tremendous game. Canada finally breaking it open and putting it away in the last 4 minutes of the game.
Well, really, and just looking back on this game, and I know that Team USA players, I really feel that they're going to give a lot of credit to Canada for the way that they played, the poise, the control that they played in all three zones, but really didn't see the Team USA that we've seen the whole Olympic Games. They just didn't seem, they were just kind of sitting back a little bit too much, Sam. And you get in a situation, you want to just be relaxed. But, I mean, there is pressure on Team USA as much as there was on Canada because we are on our home soil here in the United States. And for them, they were hesitant. They weren't playing with that same confidence. And I think you hit it down in the head beautifully early in that period. In the first period, those two power play opportunities that they had, they just didn't really have a chance to put Canada away. They let them hang around. Tony Amani with the first goal for Team USA. They had their opportunities, but you got to give Pat Quinn and his coaching staff a lot of credit for the way that they played, and they continue to get better and better and better in this Olympic game.
I thought Canada was virtually flawless in this game. They really played a smart game.
How about their D getting involved all the time? And the first three shots of the game were by defense.
Yeah, and they physically, we knew that they were the bigger team, but they used their strength. Ginla was so tough to handle. He was around the net, strong in front. They drove to the net and used their size effectively and worked along the end boards.
And how about in their own zone? Their defensemen did a great job against Team USA forwards. They just didn't.
Being put around the necks of each player. The cheers go up for Mike Richter. Splendid performance by him throughout the tournament. He was excellent in this game. Canada, as I mentioned, breaking it open late as the ceremony continues. While the silver medals are being handed out to the U.S. players, they're now wheeling out the flowers for the Canadian players, and the gold medals will be handed out momentarily, and we'll have the anthem played as well for Team Canada. First time in 50 years that Team Canada's men's Olympic hockey team has won a gold medal. A long time and a long drought. And right now, we know up in Canada, they are celebrating wildly.
We go back to the first goal of Team Canada. Paul Correa, great play along the boards by Chris Pronger, jumping in. Mary Lemieux letting the puck go between his legs, knowing that Correa was off to his left side. 1-1 game, and it's all Canada.
Membre de la Suisse du Comité international olympique et président de la Fédération internationale de hockey sur glace, accompagné par M.
Team USA, and now the introduction first in French of the gold medalists.
The gold medals will be presented by Mr. René Fossel, International Olympic Committee member from Switzerland and International Ice Hockey Federation president, accompanied by Yoshi Tomita, International Ice Hockey Federation vice president.
Champion olympique et médaillé d'or.
Olympic champion and gold medalist, Team Canada.
Great moment, the cheers from the crowd. Canadian team applauding one another. Joe Nieuwendyke's got his baby in his arms. Some of the players have cameras recording this moment. And now the team skates out toward the blue line to our right. Theo Furry, the first man to be given a gold medal. He's been A tough competitor throughout his career, and this is a shining moment for him. Joe Sakic, absolutely brilliant, gets the second medal, and the captain, Mario Lemieux, what a great moment for him. Great comeback story as he comes back to lead Team Canada to the gold medal. So Team Canada now lined up in center ice, receiving their gold medals from Renee Fassel, the head of the International Ice Hockey Federation. I have to say, Eddie, this was, in my mind, one of the great Olympics, run beautifully. I think the hockey tournament was great, not without controversy, as there always is, but I think just a terrific tournament capped off by a wonderful gold medal game.
Well, I think the people of Salt Lake City and the people of the United States should be very, very proud with the way that it was handled, the flow of people over here, 400,000 or 500,000 people coming into Salt Lake City for Olympic Games at different parts over the last couple of weeks. The hockey, I thought, was phenomenal. Day in and day out, the people here at the East Center did a great job, sometimes having 3 games in one day, 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It's just been a great experience. And Sam, before we go off the air, I just want to say it's been an honor working with you, and I wouldn't want to have done it with anybody else. It's been a lot of fun.
You're a true Olympic champion, Eddie. It was great to have you along my side. This was really a lot of fun, a special time for us, and a great job done by everybody at Westwood One as we carry these Olympic Games. Just terrific and exciting every game. Right now, the medal ceremony continuing as the gold medals to be worn proudly by the men and women of Canada's Olympic hockey teams.
You know what, Sam? You talk about Sakic and Lemieux and Yzerman played phenomenal. How about some of the unsung heroes? I mean, Joe Nieuwendyk getting the big goal against the Czech Republic in the early round of tie. He sat on the bench for about 7 minutes, got a great pass from Theo Fleury. I thought Eddie Jovanovski really stepped up after sitting out a little bit. And Michael Pekka, for a guy, he was kind of the rover.
Yeah.
He was the guy that go out there and kill the first penalty. He was teamed up with Simon Gagne, and we had a nice little talk with Michael Pekka about the excitement and knowing that, you know what, we feel that we can be physical against Team USA. You know what? And that's exactly what they did. So you need the big stars. You need the great goaltending, but you know what? You need those role players. And all these players on both these teams, these are guys that play a lot. 24, 25, 30 minutes a game for all their particular teams. But you know what? They check their egos at the door, and you know what? And say, hey, I may get one shift. Keith Tkachuk, he hasn't played the last couple games. He came on the first period and tried. He sat on the bench the rest of the way for Team USA. But you have to accept your roles, and it doesn't matter what team sport that you play. There's only certain guys that can play a lot, and guys like Pekka and Tkachuk, and I thought Eddie Jovanovski was outstanding for Team Canada.
The medals have been handed out. The gold medals are now hanging around the necks of the players of Team Canada as they look at them, they touch them, they feel them, they smile, they laugh, just enjoying this great moment here at East Center as Canada has won the gold. And looking on proudly across the way, Wayne Gretzky. And the cheers go up from the crowd, and momentarily we will have the raising of the Canadian flag. Just a great effort by Team Canada. They were primed for this. This is what they pointed to for a year and a half as they put together this team, Wayne Gretzky and his staff, and they have come out winners. And now we
ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of Canada.
fireworks go off, saluting the gold medal champions of 2002, Team Canada. They played for the soul of a nation, and they won it proudly. They win the gold medal. The United States proudly wears the silver, and Russia will take home the bronze. The final score, Canada 5, the USA 2. We'll come back with our final wrap-up in just a moment. This is Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Winter Olympics.
Satchel Paige was the closest thing to legend the Negro Leagues had ever seen. Story goes, he once ordered his outfielders to sit behind him on the mound, with the tying run on base so he could strike out the side. And he liked to intentionally load the bases to pitch to Josh Gibson, the most dangerous hitter in black baseball. Satchel Paige would eventually play in the majors, but as Paige once said, there were many Satchels, many Joshes. All February, XM Satellite Radio will tell the story of the Negro Leagues. It's just one of the many groundbreaking programs playing coast to coast during Black History Month on XM's 100 digital channels of music, news, sports, and talk. We believe it's a story that needs to be told because black ball players may have missed playing in the major leagues, but it was all of baseball that really missed out. To hear what Peter Lewis of Fortune magazine called the product of the year, visit your local electronics store or xmradio.com. Beyond AM, beyond FM, XM Satellite Radio. Special hardware and subscription required.
Now until February 28th, you can experience the new Saab 9-3 for as low as $299 a month. And what an experience it is. The responsive handling will give you goosebumps. The power of turbo will take your breath away. You'll lose yourself completely in the thrill of driving it. Just please return it to the dealer when you're done with your test drive. And then ask about the different lease options, including either $299 per month or $359 per month with zero down payment. Once it's yours, you can get as carried away as you want.
Lease a 2002 Saab 9-3 SE 5-door, 36 monthly payments as low as $299. Total due at lease inception, $3,092.69. Or 36 monthly payments as low as $359. Total due at lease inception, $1,228.73. Tax, title, insurance, and registration extra. Program expires 2/28/2002. For details, call 1-800-SAAB-USA. Visit your Chicago area Saab dealer and test drive a new Saab today.
The score.
Council.
Sam Rosen and Eddie Olczyk back at East Center in Salt Lake City, where Canada has won the gold medal, defeating the United States 5-2. They are posing for pictures at center ice now. The U.S. team dejectedly skated off. It was interesting to see Steve Yzerman, Brett Hull, and Chris Chelios, members of the Detroit Red Wings, and Brendan Shanahan.
They're coming back out.
They want to pose for a picture together. Brett Hull has come out of the locker room to shake Brendan Shanahan's hand. Chris Chelios back out. The four of them want to pose for pictures. They were talking to one another, congratulating one another. These guys, they put so much effort into it. And the Detroit Red Wings, certainly we may be seeing them at the end of the year, Eddie. Well, they're battling for the Stanley Cup.
Well, they're posing for a picture at center ice. Steve Yzerman and Shanahan flanking Chris Chelios and Brett Hull, and certainly the Detroit Red Wings are one of the favorites to go to the Stanley Cup, and this has just been, it's everything that I thought it would be, Sam.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. The referees did a whale of a job. I think the teams and the players obviously cutting their right in half in the National Hockey League, and for all these players, boy, oh boy, 48 hours plus, they're going to be battling against each other in the National Hockey League on Tuesday night.
That was terrific hockey. Give me an overall impression, Eddie, what you felt about the hockey played here, and finally what decided the outcome here against Canada and the U.S.
Well, I think going backwards first, I just think the Canadians just outworked and outplayed Team USA in this game, no doubt about it. I think they out-finessed them. They didn't give the Americans an opportunity to skate. I think the Americans were a little bit hesitant. They played on their heels, and you can't do that. You got to let it all hang out as they done, and Canada started slow, ended up being phenomenal down the stretch, and really I love the way that this game is played, and for any young players that are listening out there, is work on your skills, work on your skating. Hockey is a team game. Remember that. It's not an individual sport. You're only as good as the guys you play with. and enjoy the game, because you know what? I think people in National Hockey League and fans of hockey in general were certainly pleased with what they saw and what they heard here on Westwood One.
Well-played final, and certainly, hopefully, will inspire others to play this game, because we saw in this tournament the best of the best, the great players of the game coming together and really putting so much into winning and talking to the officials. The players wanted so much to win that you had none of the side stuff, nothing going on other than playing this game at a high level to win the gold medal. Well, that wraps it up. The gold medal is won by Canada as they defeat the United States 5-2. A reminder to stay with NHL Radio and Westwood One on many of these same stations throughout the NHL season. We'll bring you NHL action right through the crowning of a new Stanley Cup champion. On March 4th, it'll be a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup finalists as the New Jersey Devils visit the Colorado Avalanche. Airtime 7:45 Eastern Time. NHL Radio and Westwood One, your exclusive leader in NHL play-by-play radio sports. Great thanks today and all tournament long to our crew, our producer Larry Costigan, coordinating producers Chris Castleberry and Eric Spitz, studio coordinator Adam Cohen. For Eddie Olczyk, Joe Beninati, Scott Lynn, great job by everybody. We wish you all the best. We thank you for being with us. We say so long from Salt Lake City, where Canada has defeated the U.S. 5-2 to win the gold medal. This is Sam Rosen. This has been exclusive coverage of Olympic hockey on Westwood One.
It is 4:30 on WSCR-Chicago. I'm Mark Grody with a scoreboard update, and as you just heard right here on the score, Canada gets its gold. Team Canada beats the U.S. 5-2 to take the men's hockey gold. Joe Sakic, 2 goals and 2 assists. Tony Amonte, a goal for the U.S., but it's back to the Blackhawks for him and Phil Housley. The Hawks are in Philly on Tuesday. Closing ceremonies for the Olympics are tonight. College basketball, Illinois is back in the Big Ten title hunt after first-place Indiana blew one at Michigan State today. The Hoosiers and Buckeyes now tied for the conference lead at 10-4. Illinois 9-5 now, and they are hosting Indiana on Tuesday. That'll be a big one, obviously. Top 25 college basketball today. Number 2, Maryland edges number 20, Wake Forest, 90-89. Juan Dixon, a technical foul shot with 1.3 seconds left in this one. That was because Wake Forest Josh Howard called the timeout they didn't have. Elsewhere right now, Nebraska is leading number 1 Kansas 54-51. That's in the second. Number 3 Duke all over St. John's 56-29. That's also in the second half. Wright State on top of Loyola 44-37. That is in the second as well. Over to the NBA board now. The Lakers beat the Knicks today 107-91. Shaq had 30 and 15. The Bucks beat the Pistons 89-82, and it was the Nets over the Hornets 95-93. Jason Kidd had 21 points and 15 assists in the game. The Bulls play Orlando on Tuesday, looking for their 4th straight win. Sports updates 4 times an hour, weekend afternoons. I'm Mark Grody on the Score Sports Radio 670.
Hey, Fred Hubner back with you. Are you one of those people who always thought that a firm mattress was the best mattress, and then after you purchased one, you discovered maybe I was wrong? Now you don't have to decide on firm or soft. You can have both with the Sleep Number bed from Select Comfort. The Sleep Number bed from Select Comfort uses adjustable air chambers. They allow you to set each side of the bed to the firmness you need. The Sleep Number is the firmness setting. My Sleep Number right now is 50. My wife's 45, a little softer. When I get to bed, I know the mattress will be just the way I want it. No annoying springs poking you where they shouldn't be. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. There are Select Comfort stores located all over the Chicago area. Orland Square Mall, Northbrook Court, Fox Valley Center, Spring Hill Mall, Yorktown, Woodfield, Stratford Square Mall, Gulf Mill Shopping Center, South Lake Mall, and the Hawthorne Shopping Center. Stop in, get your own Sleep Number. It's fun, it's fast, and hey, it's free. Select Comfort offers a 30-night in-home trial. If after 30 nights you don't think it does everything I've said, then take it back. You have nothing to lose but more sleep if you don't check out a Sleep Number bed by Select Comfort.
On CBS Gold Medal Monday, don't miss the comedy champ, Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yes.
All new CBS Monday.
Your window of opportunity for great deals on great Ford vehicles is wide open during the Ford Auto Show Window of Opportunity sales event. This is your one chance for $500 bonus cash on top of already incredible savings on Ford Explorer, Expedition, Windstar, Focus, ZX2, and Mustang. Choose $1,500 to $3,000 cash back or 0% financing. That's $1,500 to $3,000 cash back or 0% financing on America's best-selling line of cars and trucks. Ford Explorer, Expedition, Windstar, Focus, ZX2, and Mustang. But hurry, your window for $500 bonus cash won't stay open for long. Get to your local Ford store today. Not all buyers will qualify for lowest APR. See dealer to see if you qualify. Residency restrictions apply. For cashback or limited-term Ford credit APR, take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 3/5/2002. Bonus cash on select models good through 2/28. Offers available on select models only. Excludes Super Crew and SBT models. See dealer for details.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rogers. As you know, the city of Chicago is home to some of the greatest winners and losers the sports world has ever seen. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to inform the populace in as entertaining a manner as possible about the goings-on of these teams. Mr. Rogers, this intro tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Knocked away by Lindros in front, loose puck, and it's cleared out by a diving Doug Wade. 2-on-1 U.S. Amonte right circle, he shoots, he scores! At 8:49 of the first period has given the U.S. a 1-0 lead.
Sakic again, Gagne the trailer. Sakic looking into the middle, shot, score! Jerome McGinley. Power plays got 19 seconds left on it. Team Canada gets it in the zone. Jovanovski moves to the middle of the ice. Dropped it to Joe Sakic. His wrister, score!
10 seconds to go. Amonte's got the puck. 5 seconds to go. Amonte to center, right side of York. Cross the line, long shot, misses, and the game is over. Canada reigns supreme. They are number one in the world in hockey. They have won the gold medal by defeating the United States 5-2.
Those were the highlights from today's gold medal game as Canada defeats the United States. You heard it right here on the Score Sports Radio 670, the final 5-2. What a great game it was. And even though the final makes it look like a Canada domination, it really wasn't. It was back and forth throughout, 3-2 into the latter half of the third period. USA went on a power play. We're not able to score, and then Canada comes right back with a goal and then gets another one in the closing minutes. Good afternoon. Jesse Rogers with you here on the Score Sports Radio 670. As that will conclude the Olympic hockey coverage today from Salt Lake. We'll do a final Olympic recap coming up tonight at 11 p.m. as these 2002 Olympic Games wind down. And it's been a lot of fun over the last couple weeks. I said this yesterday on the Score. The month of February is made for the Olympics because it is really a dead month in sports, locally, nationally. You're in the midst of regular season games in college and pro basketball. Not a lot going on. Obviously, baseball just starting up spring training. The Super Bowl and football's all done. So the Olympics in the month of February is absolutely perfect. And being in the United States, it obviously was a highlight, a spotlight sort of thing in this month. And I thought it was a pretty good month of sports to watch. And even though there's a lot of sports you don't normally watch and all that stuff, there's plenty of opportunities to watch the stuff you like. Figure skating, bobsled, hockey. Most of the time, I kept my eyes on the hockey, and it was a great tournament, an absolutely great tournament. For someone that would rather see amateurs in the game, even knowing that in 12 hours, these guys are going to be enemies again, as was pointed out throughout the game. You know, Brodeur actually will face Richter Tuesday night as the Rangers and Devils face off. But, Roenick, LeClaire, Amonte, Housley, they're all teammates tonight. Well, Tuesday, the Hawks will be in Philadelphia. They'll be enemies. I don't like that. I sort of like the whole amateur, it's us against them. You build up to the Olympics. You have all the teams playing in these exhibitions like it was in 1980. But having said all that, it was still a great hockey tournament with the best players in the world. And that's the thing you got to love. You had the best players in the world facing off with their home countries, and Canada defeating the United States for the gold, 5-2. Canada wins the gold medal in the men's and women's hockey.
And it was a great game, a great hockey tournament. We'd like to talk about it with you right here on the Score Sports Radio 670. 312-644-6767 is the number. If you want to jump on, we'll do a little post-game hockey talk right here. Coming up, Brian Sutter, the head coach of the Blackhawks, is scheduled to join us a little bit after 5 o'clock for his analysis. George Hoffman will jump on a little bit after 6:30 for a spring training report live from Mesa, Arizona, where he is camped out for the Cubs spring training camp this week. So we'll talk to George a little bit after 6:30. Again, Brian Sutter scheduled to join us a little bit after 5. But your phone calls throughout at 312-644-6767. Tony Amate, the Blackhawks captain, got things going early on with the game's first goal, a nice little 2-on-1 situation. And he put a wrist shot past Martin Brodeur. It looked like the USA team was off and running at 1-0, but Canada came back with 2 goals in that first period. The first one, Paul Correa with a nice pass from Chris Pronger, and Mario Lemieux. Think back to that first goal by Canada, folks. Pronger put it across ice, and Mario Lemieux, either on purpose or by accident, didn't touch the puck. He let it go through his legs right on Paul Correa's stick, and it surprised Mike Richter. He thought Lemieux was going to pick up the puck and shoot. Instead, he lets it go right through his skates to Paul Correa, who puts it past Richter for Canada's first goal. And I'm still not sure if Lemieux did that on purpose or not, but if he did, that was an amazing play because he fooled everybody, including the goaltender. So it was 1-1 at that point. And then just a few minutes later, a nice little 4-on-3 situation. Sakic, who had a great game, Joe Sakic, the reigning MVP in the NHL, crosses over the blue line, puts it over to Jerome McGinley, who also had a good game, and he fires it past Richter. It was 2-1 at that point, and the Canada team was off and running. That was the score after the first period. Then going into the second period, the USA team was able to tie it up on a power play goal. Rafalski with a nice shot. It looked like maybe it was tipped in by a defenseman on Canada, but in any case, it got past Marty Brodeur. That was on a power play goal. It was 2-2 at that point. But just a few minutes later, and this may have been the backbreaker, it turned out to be the game winner late into the second period on the power play for Canada. Joe Sakic, who else, with a great wrist shot past Mike Richter. Tons of traffic in front of Richter, the goaltender, for what turned out to be the game winner. Whenever you take a lead going into the third period at this level of hockey, you've got the advantage in a big, big way. There's not a lot of teams in the NHL or even in international play that come back to win after trailing going into the third period. So that late second period goal by Joe Sakic was a big one, 3-2 going into the third. But then the key moment maybe in the game, as the announcers talked about, on the power play in the second half of the third period, Brett Hull had a beautiful chance from the left side, put it on net, and Martin Brodeur went from left to right and just got his pad in the way to knock the puck away from the net. Looked like it was going to go in as Brett Hull was denied on the power play. The Canada team was able to kill off the rest of that power play, and then about 2 minutes later they scored. Jerome McGinley with his second of the game to really ice it at 4-2. Then Joe Sakic with a breakaway with about a minute and a half remaining to win it. The final, again, 5-2. So really it was a one-goal game until the later stages of the third period. Just a great game. 312-644-6767 is the number. I'd like to talk about it with you. What do you think the keys were? I don't think you could say Canada wanted it more. They just played a little bit better from start to finish. Canada played a better game. Probably the better team won. I think if these two teams faced off 10 times, Canada would win 6 or 7 times. That doesn't mean the USA wouldn't win a few, and they could have won the night. They had their chances, I should say, this afternoon. They just came up a little bit short as Canada wins the gold, the men's and women's, in hockey, first time in 50 years for the Canada team. 312-644-6767 is the number. I'd also like to hear from some casual hockey fans. Did you enjoy the Olympic game better than you enjoy the NHL game? Now, obviously, the competition is at a high level. It's one game and you're out in the medal rounds. So if you lose, you're out. Everything's intensified in the Olympics. But overall, there's some major differences in the International Olympic game than you find in the NHL. Do you like the NHL game better, or do you like the International Olympic game better? And I'd love to hear from some casual fans that mostly watch Olympic hockey and don't watch NHL hockey. And we'll go over some of the differences. And for you diehard fans that know the differences between the Olympic rules and the NHL rules, we'll talk about what rules you'd like to see the NHL implement. And it usually gets discussed every time the Olympics come around. Should the NHL take on some of the Olympic rules and make the game better? Or maybe, for that matter, the Olympic game should take on some NHL rules. Would you like to see fighting in the Olympics? Would you like to see fighting eliminated in the NHL? There's a lot of other changes, and I'll go over the top 2 or 3 that most people like to talk about. But for the casual fan, why, besides the fact that you know it's a Game 7 every time out, we know it's a high level of competition, why do you like the international game better than the NHL game, or vice versa? Why do you like the NHL game better than the international game? 312-644-6767 is the number. And final question in regards to the Olympics. And let me explain the reason for this question, because I don't like to just crap on the Olympics. A lot of people just like to say, oh, I hate the Olympics, these sports I don't know anything about. But here's my question. With the Olympics ending today, fill in the blank. The best reason for the end of the Olympics is, and you fill in the blank. And I'm going to give you my reason right now. And it has nothing to do with the figure skating or bobsledding or, sports that we don't care about. The best reason for the end of the Olympics is, in my opinion, no more Jim Lampley. Thank you very much. Now, I watched a lot of hockey. Jim Lampley was like the hockey studio host. This guy, he has lost it. I'm sorry. Jim Lampley, first of all, has no idea what's going on in regards to hockey. And it's just he's just annoying. You know how a guy just ticks you off, annoys you when you listen or watch him? I don't get Jim Lampley. So the best thing for the Olympics ending, in my mind, was I don't have to watch Jim Lampley anymore. Like you to fill in the blank as well. The best reason for the Olympics to end is, and you fill it in, maybe you hate certain sports, maybe you hate the controversies, maybe you hate the Russians, maybe you hate the Canadians. I grew to dislike Canada a little bit more than before. The whole whining with the figure skating thing, which, in my opinion, it wasn't a slam dunk that the pairs should have won the gold. They end up whining enough that they get it. And then the whole Gretzky thing, who is my favorite athlete of all time, by the way, the whole Gretzky thing, whining about nobody likes Canada, when, in fact, there's really, going into this thing, very little hatred towards Canada from Americans, as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that they think it's just a right that they win the hockey gold medal. So I was disappointed more than I thought I'd be that Canada won the gold. I really was. It's unfortunate. Amante and Housley, no Blackhawk player gets a gold medal. They get the silver, and congratulations to them for that. But no Hawk player will get a gold, and they sent 6 of them. Of course, none of them on the Canadian team. As Canada wins the gold, I say congratulations to the team because they played hard, but it sort of makes me a little ill in the stomach to see Canada beat the United States in hockey. But it was a great game. I want to get your thoughts on it right after this scoreboard update, as we do that every 15 minutes on the weekends. Mark Grote standing by. Mark, do you have an idea for the best reason the Olympics is coming to an end for yourself?
Yeah, we don't have to hear about Belarus anymore.
The biggest upset ever, Belarus.
I think that's going to be the great scandal of the Olympics. When it's all over, we're going to find out that, as it turns out, Belarus was not a real country.
Right. It was just a bunch of guys that got together.
It was a small village in Europe.
All right, I'm going to write these down. No more Belarus for you. No more Jim Lampley for me.
Okay.
And I'm sure we'll get some very creative and good ones on the phone lines, which are jammed. So, Mark, go right through it.
All right, Jesse, and it was the gold medal Canada had to have, and they get it in men's hockey today, as you just heard on the score. They knock off the U.S. 5-2. The Blackhawks' Tony Amonte did put one in for the U.S. Closing ceremonies for the Olympics are tonight. College basketball today, Michigan State upsets Indiana 57-54, throwing it all out there for the Big Ten. We'll talk about that in the 5 o'clock update. Number 2, Maryland just edges number 20, Wake Forest, 92-89. Nebraska right now is leading number 1 Kentucky 71-70 with 7:29 remaining in that game. Elsewhere, Duke handing it to St. John's 62-34 in the second. Wright State on top of Loyola 57-47. That's also midway through the second half. To the NBA, the Lakers beat the Knicks today 107-91. Milwaukee over Detroit 89-82, and the Nets beat the Hornets 95-93. The Bulls play Orlando on Tuesday. NASCAR Matt Kenseth wins the Subway 400. Scoreboard updates every 15 minutes, weekend afternoons. And I'm Mark Grote on the Score Sports Radio 670.
Sports and the Score is brought to you by McDonald's Speed Pass. Things are moving at McDonald's now that Speed Pass is here. Just link your MasterCard, major credit, or check card to Speed Pass. Enroll at McDonald's or call 1-87-SPEED-PASS. Chicago's new Essex Inn on Michigan Avenue had a great time this fall, and I'd like to thank all the Score listeners who enjoyed the season with them. The Essex Inn can be your home for all of Chicago's many attractions year-round. If you're attending one of the conventions at McCormick Place, the Essex Inn is just minutes away. Going to a game at the stadium, it's just a 5-minute cab ride. Whether you're coming downtown to run the next marathon or trying to get away with that someone special, or even if you're making travel plans for out-of-town clients, the Essex Inn is your key to the city. Conveniently located on Michigan Avenue, the Essex Inn offers stunning views of Grand Park, Lake Michigan, and the Chicago skyline. Say you heard it here on The Score and receive the special Score price, starting at $99 plus tax, which includes free hotel parking. Space is limited. Don't miss out on this special offer. Call 1-800-621-6909. Take advantage of the convenience of the Essex Inn for upcoming events, such as the Vet Fest, first-round college hoops action at the UC, and St. Patrick's Day. With rooms starting at $99 plus tax, the Essex Inn is your key to the city. Call today, 1-800-621-6909.
It's time once again for Quizno's Unfair Matchup. Here's where we compare the taste of a toasted Quiznos sub with an ordinary untoasted sub.
No comparison. Everyone knows oven toasted tastes better.
That'd be like an Oxford English professor against a celebrity bodyguard in a spelling bee.
Professor Hollenbach, please spell soliloquium.
S-O-L-I-L-O-Q-U-I-U-M. Soliloquium.
Thank you. Mr. Carducci.
Yeah.
Cumulonimbus.
Oh, so I get the hard ones. You know, this is bullshit. That's B-O-O-L... No, wait. That's B-O...
Wow, that wasn't pretty. Kind of ugly, huh? The same thing happens when you match a toasted Quiznos sub against an untoasted sub.
Just not right.
No, it isn't. It's Quiznos Unfair Matchup.
Come into Quiznos today and try our chicken carbonara sub with creamy Parmesan Alfredo sauce, bacon, mozzarella, and mushrooms on sweet basil bread. Oven toasted tastes better.
Toasty.
Out of the blue, a new casino will come. Hollywood's dazzling sequel, second to none. Yes, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come, but why wait? Now you can experience Chicagoland's newest and most spectacular casino because Act 1 of Hollywood's new $75 million casino is now open, featuring wide aisles, soaring ceilings, and the best air quality. Want more reasons not to wait? Hollywood has brought back its popular $250,000 hit game with $331,000 in cash prizes, including one $250,000 grand prize. Plus, you can earn a free vacation to the Atlantis Paradise Island by playing Hollywood's loose slots. So come play today, but remember,
the best is yet to come in Chicagoland.
Hollywood Casino.
The party's at Club O. Go wild with $1 domestic beer or well drinks. And dollar dances every Monday through Thursday until our anniversary party, starting April 14th. Make your reservations now for our anniversary parties. Hunting for a wild place for lunch? Club O features the hottest dishes served daily. We're Chicago's #1 full nude, full liquor, and full fun gentlemen's club. Club O is just 25 minutes from downtown and O'Hare. Located in Chicago's south suburbs near I-80, 294. At 171st and Halsted Streets behind the Park End. Come see the world's sexiest girls at Club O. Club O is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday at noon, Saturday and Sunday at 6. Club O has a full liquor bar, and our gorgeous women take it all off. At Club O, we're waiting for you. We're the hottest and sexiest club in Chicagoland, so get down here, because we're having an anniversary that you'll never forget. For more information, call Club O at 708-333-8770. That's 708-333-8770.
More talk about the games you care about and less talk about the games you don't. Guaranteed. The Score, Sports Radio 670.
All right, Jesse Rogers back with you right here on The Score. I'll be here until 7 o'clock. We're talking about the gold medal game between Canada and the United States. Canada wins it 5-2, and they really deserved it. They played a better game than the U.S. team did. I don't think you could say that every time these two teams would match up that the Canada team would win. I think it was close enough that the Americans had their chances. It just, they came up short. Couple keys, the late goals in the first period and the late goals in the second period twice to take the lead going into the locker room. I think that is, says something about the momentum, and Canada was able to do that 2-1 going into the locker room after the first period and 3-2 going into the locker room after the second period. They end up winning 5-2, and we go to the phone lines. They are jammed. Let's go to Mitch in Plainfield. You're on the score, Mitch.
Hey, how you doing, Jesse?
Good, man.
Hey, you know what? I just want to tell you, I was out in Salt Lake. You there?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I was out in Salt Lake last weekend, and I got a chance to see the Belarus game, and I'll tell you what, USA looked phenomenal.
Yeah, they look phenomenal. They look phenomenal in every game except today, and it's not that they look bad. I think Canada looked very good today, though.
They lost.
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm sorry, Mitch. You waited that long, and then your phone's breaking up. But I really didn't think the American team gave it away today or anything like that. There weren't a ton of mistakes. Sure, the Sakic breakaway at the end of the game, but that's because they were, pinching up, trying to take some chances. I think Canada played its best game, and Canada really built. Maybe that was the key. Canada started out poorly in this tournament and played better and better and better throughout, and this was, in my opinion, probably their best game overall against their best opponent, while the Americans came out on fire and then sort of came back down to earth a little bit, culminating in today's winning the silver medal. So that's how I saw it. Let's go to Monty and his truck phone. Monty, you're on the score.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks a lot for airing that. I drive truck cross country, and I didn't get to watch a lot of those games there. NBC did a lousy job of putting them on the regular non-cable channel.
Yes, they did. You're right about that.
I missed a lot of games there, but the ones I did get to see, I really enjoyed. You know what? I lost both ways on this deal. I'm from Detroit, and I'm married to a Canadian who happens to be up in Toronto now with 3 of her girls in a tournament now up in Oakville, Ontario, and they're all 3 playing today. And, I was going to lose out of this either way. If the Americans won, we were cheaters and big mouths. Okay, we were going to cry about it. And if we lost, we're losers. She's already called 3 times to gloat more while I've been on hold with you. So there's no way I was going to win out. I picked the Canadians to win this when I first saw their roster. The first thing I said, well, half of them are Red Wings anyway, and I'm from Detroit. So, and now all I hear about is how all I'm going to claim about is, well, we're going to win the Stanley Cup because of the Red Wings and everything. But she's killing me, man, on this.
I bet, I bet it's, have you talked to her?
Oh, well, I probably got 2 hours worth of phone calls during the game.
Okay, but is Canada just going crazy like we think it is?
You know what? If this was World War III, you would think that Canada single-handedly defended the whole entire world.
Yeah.
I have to admire them on their love for the game of hockey. And
I agree.
I go up there when I get days off or vacation, and I go up to practices at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and we got 3 girls.
Yeah.
And, that takes a lot of dedication and love for the game.
Absolutely.
And they're not doing... I've got a 14-year-old that played at 8 o'clock this morning, and she's got a regular job washing dishes at a restaurant and everything. And, that takes a lot for a 14-year-old girl to put out that says a lot for the game of hockey. And that's all Canadians, too. They're all like that. They love... there's no love for anything in the United States
Monty,
they love it.
I got to run. I know what you're talking about. And that's why, after what Gretzky said last week, I really wanted to see the United States win. Because as much as they're celebrating now, if they had lost, that country would have to shut down. They'd have to close the borders, shut down all businesses for a week or so, because that's how disappointing it would have been for Canada to lose to the Americans in the sport they invented. It'd be the same way if Canada, the Canadian basketball team, beat the American basketball team in the Summer Olympics. We'd be that desolate. We'd be that upset over that. We wouldn't be able to leave the country again. That's why I wanted to see that disappointment. The agony of defeat would have been so great to watch Canada go through, but instead it's the United States that has to go through it. Of course, we don't care about the sport as much as the Canadians do, so it doesn't hurt as much, but it definitely still does hurt. 312-644-6767, the number. A quick break, then back to your phone calls in a moment.
This is Illinois Controller Dan Hines. This year, choose the electronic filing direct deposit option to get your state income tax refund faster.
Jake Leinenkugel, Leinenkugel Brewing Company, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
Here in Chippewa Falls, we meet a lot of people who come to town looking for adventure. Some find success,
while others, well...
I have had the worst day.
How come?
Well, I wanted a real Northwoods experience, so I came up here to go ice fishing.
Catch anything?
Besides the cold? No. My $800 fishing pole didn't work, my designer snow boots way overrated, and my car got stuck in a snowdrift.
All is not lost, my friend. Try a Liney's Creamy Dark.
A dark beer? Thanks, but I'm bitter enough already.
That's why Creamy Dark is different. See that rich color? Smell that nutty aroma? That's 6 barley malts and Cascade hops in there. So you get a dark beer that's smooth and drinkable.
Wow, that is smooth. I got my Northwoods experience after all. Thanks.
Just doing my job. Now about this ice fishing. Are you sure you cut the hole big enough?
Hole?
Smooth, dark, drinkable. Liney's Creamy Dark. Leinenkugels. For 135 years, the flavor of the Northwoods.
You sent for me, Your Majesty.
I did.
Oh, your regalness seems a bit down in the royal dumps.
Sandstone, am I a good queen?
Good? Well, you were grand, Victoria.
Have I done enough for my people?
Enough? Good heavens, Club Victoria members can earn comp dollars and points at the same time. Stupendous.
Well, that is true.
Your table game and slot folk can both earn points while playing.
They are all equal in my club.
Yes, and points are redeemable for cash today.
I hear other clubs make players wait by mailing cash rewards.
Unspeakable.
So the people are happy with Club Victoria?
Pray, ma'am, come to the window.
Oh, you like me. You really like me.
Join Club Victoria, Chicagoland's best players club. Check out our website, www.grandvictoria-elgin.com. Membership is easy and free.
And for all, free room temperature brews and haggis. Oh, very well. No haggis.
The Grand Victoria Casino in Elgin. Play the Queen.
You save big money, when you shop Menards.
For big savings on everything to straighten up your closets, head straight to Menards. Choose from a 10 or 20 pocket shoe organizer, clothes bag, or underbed storage bag by Rubbermaid. Free after rebate. A 36 to 60 inch free-slide Rubbermaid wire closet organizer is just $14.99 after rebate. A 60 to 96 inch wire closet organizer kit, only $19.99 after rebate. Plus, save big on a great selection of shelving at Menards. An industrial strength 5-tier plastic shelf by Plano is on sale for just $29.95. Or create your own storage system with easy-to-assemble modular shelving by Plano. A 5-tier shelf is just $29.88. Add a 2-door base cabinet for only $39.88. Plus, enter to win a Dodge Ram pickup. See store for details. Save space and money with great deals on storage organizers at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Here's a story you might relate to.
Hi, my name is Rance Rogers. I spent 10 years climbing the corporate ladder, concluding with responsibility for $350 million business division of a Fortune 30 company. After 10 years, I had success, money and perks, but I was exhausted. Along with success came long hours and nonstop travel, leaving me no time for what was most important to me, my family and friends. I was looking for a business opportunity that would allow me to leverage my skills, improve my quality of life, and build a company for myself. In 1992, I was introduced to a business opportunity that allowed me to achieve my dream. Today, 8 years later, I've built a $20 million company with just one employee. I now have the flexibility and the time to do the things I enjoy with a 7-figure income to do it with. We're looking for success-oriented people who desire to make money, have fun, and enjoy balance in their lives. Working together, our opportunity for success is phenomenal.
If this is you and you're looking to change, call the Wellness Opportunities Group at 888-394-9933. That's 888-394-9933.
Spanning 2 centuries of Chicago sports radio, this is the 50,000-watt voice of the fan, WSCR-Chicago. The Score, Sports Radio 670, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. Scoreboard update on the Score, Sports Radio 670.
This scoreboard update is sponsored by Beyond the Ivy. Enjoy a rooftop experience that you'll never forget while you watch the Northsiders play ball. For tickets, call 847-825-8...